boy, as you wonder this night.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
As you go, brave men are barren, faith and love by.
Snap back, play action. Thompson rolling, throwing, pass, caught by Castaneda, makes it move at the 20, 15, down to the 11-yard line. Isaiah Garcia, Castaneda, and then they'll say, did he fumble at the end of the play or was he already
close.
down?
It was close, Greg.
The call is Northwestern football.
I will dance your memory.
Oh, an onside kick. Northwestern is on it. At the 45, Scott Frost going for the mortal blow in this game, and now Northwestern has a short field.
I don't know about that.
Back to him. Oh, sidesteps one and scores! Touchdown, Northwestern.
Be not feared in the darkness, my heart is your light.
Snap back. Casey steps, throws, in and out of the hands and intercepted. Off the hands of Wyatt Lever and picked off by Northwestern, and the Wildcats are going to win this opening game.
Dream of your peace in the night.
And the Cats kept fighting uphill, and they kneel it down for the last time, and they're going to win their game. They get it done here tonight, and they win the Aer Lingus Classic, beating Nebraska 31-28.
Yeah, in hindsight, didn't work. So anytime something doesn't work, you just want it back. We've been talking to the kids about being aggressive and attacking this thing for weeks, and I think they did that. Part of it was we had a couple things that we wanted to be aggressive on. We had one earlier that we wanted to see if we got the look we wanted, and we got a look that was really good for it. And I made that call, so that's on me. At that point in the game, I thought all the momentum was on our side. I thought if we got it, we could end the game. And the way we were playing, I felt at that point like we had a really good chance of winning the game, and I felt like maybe we were the better team. And you can't really foresee them scoring 14 straight and us sputtering after we played well to start the second half on offense. So again, those are excuses. If I had it over, I wouldn't make the call. I think we're going to have to learn as an offensive staff that you got to be a little creative in this league. So we have some things that we can work on. That we did a lot of good things, but it's got to be more of a complete game.
Well, good morning. It is Sharp and Betting in the morning on a Monday morning. After the opening game of the season, the Northwestern defeated Nebraska 31-28. Good morning, my man.
Good morning.
How you doing on this rainy, stormy Monday in the Big O?
It is what it is.
All right. Welcome in. This is the morning after Northwestern, the first time that we have been together. Big Red Overreaction, Michael's show yesterday. So we are up to begin the week in a season that I thought we were on to 2022, but sometimes it feels like did the last one end with certain things that happened on Saturday. But Nebraska falls, and they will be a topic all week long around college football until Thursday when games begin. But so much to sift through on what happened on Saturday, especially if you went back and kind of either rewatched it or just examined some things that went on.
Yeah. I think there were some things that I wondered out loud that I didn't, I wasn't sure. I said, well, is it just because it's these guys, or is it because this is how it's going to be? And I thought that there were some telltale signs of some things that I wanted to see how they would play out. And, like conditioning, for instance, right? That's just not something that, we would bring up a couple of weeks,
Willy-nilly.
a couple of weeks out just because, right? Like, I thought that was a factor. Obviously, my greatest concern, depth on the D line, getting snaps out of Drew Hutmacher and Wynn.
Who Drew had more snaps than Wynn.
Not again.
Yeah.
Not surprising. So I mean, it's going to be a struggle. There's a lot to get into. Run game. Can they run the ball well enough without quarterback run game? Will they incorporate quarterback run game? All things that were kind of foreshadowed. We just didn't know how it would play out. But perhaps I think the biggest thing is, what's the word? Chemistry and cooperation among the staff. That's the thing I think that was the number one concern. We asked the question probably 17 different times, 16 different ways. Which is more important? Coach to coach, coach to player, player to player. And in my opinion, it is, and I don't think it's close. It is coach to coach.
All right. Well, you and I will cooperate today over the next 10 hours, or the next 4 hours from until 10 o'clock. 951-1620. If you weren't able to get in on Big Red Overreaction, 951-1620. You can always email us into the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Gary or Damon at 1620thezone.com or at Gary Sharp 1620 at Damon Betting at Sharp and Betting on Twitter. There's part, like as you sit on a Sunday and you think about what you just saw, because when you're in the moment and you got to come in and do the show, it's just all reaction. But as you take a step back and look at key moments on Saturday, Damon, in that game, and stuff that you and I have been talking about for 8 months, or in particular, really grinding it into the last 10 days, month of camp, there's part of Saturday where you could go back on a Monday after a Saturday game and go, yep, I saw that coming. There were things, whether it be attention to details, day-to-day stuff, during the course of 8 months that led up to the opening game that reared its ugly head against a program that they wait for you to make mistakes, and they played a typical Big Ten football game where it's a field position game. You got to have a good punter. You can flip the field. You have physicality. You're fundamentally strong. You're able to run the ball, stop the run, and you don't make mistakes. And that was a typical Big Ten football game. But what is the most frustrating thing is going to be up 28-17, where you feel good for the second time in a game. You have an 11-point lead. You feel good about how things have flipped, because going into the locker room at halftime, it felt like Nebraska was down a lot more than a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it felt like it was a gigantic hole. And to come out of that and get a defensive stop right away out of the locker room and get the football back and be able to go touchdown, force fumble, touchdown, and you're up 28-17. That's in the moment realizing where you're at and who you're playing when it comes to decision making.
Yeah, are you alluding to the kick?
On the onside kick.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was interesting. I mean, I understand it's hard to debate what he said, right? The wanting to be aggressive. They talked about being aggressive and what have you. And I think, no, there's a couple things. The automatic pushback is going to be, okay, how much do you weigh risk versus reward?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what do you recover? Probably 26%. I would be curious. I would ask the question, he said, hey, we were, I don't know if he said we saw some looks or they got the look. I would ask him the question, did he get the look that he thought he was going to get? Right? Because, people are going to poke holes at, well, the game wasn't going to be over in the third quarter or whatever. But it is hard to go back and say that Nebraska played scared. So there's this meeting of the minds where foolishness meets being aggressive. And I didn't listen, I hated the call. I mean, I said it real time. I didn't say it. I just was like, man, real time. But I actually don't think that's where the game was won and lost. Nebraska was playing in such a way down the stretch where they didn't give themselves a chance to really hang in there because they lost the inability to stop the run. We didn't just talk about, I asked it, again, another one of those things I keep repeating, right? Would Nebraska average more yards per carry or give up more yards per carry? And they ran it for 3.5 per. Grant had, I think he ended up getting a C note because he had the 46 yarder
run, yep.
that he broke off. But Northwestern's toting it for 5.5 per, and it was significantly more than that in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So those are just those things that have been on my mind that I'm thinking, okay, have they shored this part of it up? Nebraska is not very deep. They are paying mightily for recruiting along
defensive line.
An offensive line isn't great either. And then, so I mean, it's just kind of coming home to roost. They're going to have to figure out. I think for them, schematically, they may have to change up from what they typically like doing. You may have to see a little bit more one high. They don't love cover 3, but they got to find a way to get another guy down into the box. Safety play was not. I mean, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it
two
was,
older guys that have been here for a while.
It's been a concern this whole offseason for me. They're just young and inexperienced, and
they got picked on.
Oh yeah,
I mean the Northwestern from O to D to the head coach had a relatively really good game plan.
That was Northwestern staff did a fantastic job. And if you're in Nebraska, you got to think to yourself, okay. Yeah, it's one game at a time. But if you're truly in this thing for the long haul, your new must win becomes Oklahoma.
Yep.
All right, you got to get North Dakota, you got to get Georgia Southern. Now they can't afford to fast forward, but they have to keep their emotions in check up until then, because if you're a glass half full person, you can still get to 3-1. It just wouldn't be the 3-1 that most people predicted. So if you're hanging on to, and I'm not telling you how to think. I'm giving you the options in which you have to kind of to look at it. But there are just some things said and some mannerisms that they've got to get it together by the time they step on the practice field. I don't know if that's a meeting of the minds. There's just some things you cannot allude to and you cannot say. In my opinion,
you're gonna have finger pointing after one game. I mean, that's the worst thing you want to have. Here, one quick note, because this will come up today about the onside kick. There's another part of I didn't like it because of the DNA of this team. That it seems like when something doesn't go right, they can't handle it, and things get sideways for a while. Now, there are a lot of teams that, you fail a lot during the course of a football game, but not everybody folds. And I just watched this team. We talked about, I keep going back. There were a couple of things yesterday where I was like, wow, things that we talked about came home to roost on Saturday. And use the word tight. I would say, a week into camp? Week and a half into camp?
I called it tense.
I kept thinking about that.
Tense.
Because watch
did it give you the appearance it was tense?
Yeah. Because
it's tense.
Okay. So we already know that going in. And your DNA is what happened on Saturday. Okay. It's the same DNA. Now, it's the weird balance of guys that just got here, how they approached what happened Saturday to the guys that have been here for a while.
Yeah.
But I watched that team and, whatever Frost said or how he acted, but just the mannerisms during the course of a football game and emotion. that is a team, and not everybody, but it looks like a team that is wound so tight that they are emotionally drained. And we're in the middle of the first football game, because there was a great picture shared, and I think it was Husker Mike. The wild scramble play, the completion. There's the Nebraska sideline. If you were on the sideline, even as a coach, and you saw a play like that happen, wouldn't you get excited?
Yeah. They needed a play.
There was very little excitement on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I don't know if guys were stunned, or it just, at times it appeared guys were emotionally drained. Now, I think there's a difference between, they'll say, well, Nebraska was tired and they got pushed around. Well, mentally, I thought they really, really hit a wall.
Yeah, see, that's okay. So again, I didn't love the onside kick. But do you know why? It's not the fact that he did it. It's just that you've got to know, and you weigh risk reward. But more importantly than that, it's not the result. It's, can you handle if it doesn't go the way that you want it to?
That's a key point, and that's what I just said, because you have a tendency to
that's the thing. Do you have the pulse and the support of your team? Listen to what I just said. Do you have the pulse and the support of your team and staff if that does not go well? That's the thing. Not the isolated incident. It's, did I take everything into account?
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, and your gut said, hey, let's do it, then do it, man. I support that. It just looked like not everybody was on the same page with that.
Yep.
That's the sense that I got. And that's one of those things that you couldn't afford at that time, because I think the cohesiveness and kind of being on the same page, you wonder, right? Like the random insertion of Logan Smothers. And it was get in, get out.
Allen and Belt not till the fourth quarter. I mean, Allen was earlier, but
yeah. I mean, it just some strange, just some odd things that let you know it's fairly disjointed, in my opinion.
We have lots to talk about: offense, defense, special teams. Northwestern, who played a really good Big Ten football game, and they did the thing that is fundamental in football: be able to be physical at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage, and also attention to detail, but fundamentally sound. I mean, how many games are won in this division in particular that teams just are better fundamentally? And I'm not saying, the X's and O's part of line up correctly, how you handle a puller, those getting down into the box, getting into run fits, linebacker fits, those kind of stuff. That fundamental part that I think Nebraska, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they were lax at.
Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska defensively did not play well at all. Not from upstairs to downstairs. They did not play well at all. Now, I pause and say,
did you realize Zelensky only had 11 incompletions?
Mm-hmm. He had all day. He never got hit.
I don't think I realized that full real time. It's
so
kind of weird.
So there were 8 hurries. He never got hit. There were no sacks, 2 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
And he got comfortable.
Both running backs combined to go for a little over 5 a carry too, which they have really got to figure that part out.
So let's, and we're going to do this today, because I think people are saying, hey, we got to talk about the why. It's not like there were times where they lined up and they just beat Nebraska at the point of attack. Hull had a really good day.
Yeah.
Porter had a really good day.
They're good.
But the way they ran football,
those 2 running backs are good. I mean,
and they found holes. I mean, there were some big holes, and they also they caught Nebraska in times where their pants were down. I thought they called a really, really good game.
They did.
I mean, we talk about the onside. I want to give credit. Those Northwestern, the 3 up front, and somebody said there was a 4th closer to the Northwestern sideline that you didn't see on TV. Those guys didn't bail. You know how you're taught on kickoffs, do not go until that ball is cleared your head?
I coach those guys.
Yeah. So they didn't bail.
You hold until it clears. Hold until it clears.
All right, again, 951-1620. You are more than welcome to join the conversation today. We've got lots to parse through. As now we're on to week 1. I think Nebraska practices today. They got back early in the morning yesterday here in Omaha. Media availability is tomorrow, and then North Dakota is here for a 2:30 kick on week 1, as Nebraska is the talk of college football, unfortunately in the wrong tone for the next couple of days. All right, let's start. We'll take a break then, but let's start with Mike. Mike's first in today. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. Been a long time.
Yeah, what's up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, not much. Good. How are you?
Good.
Everybody on social media and everything, of course, talking about the onside kick and everything. But honestly, that don't have me worried at all. It's just the being pushed around on both sides of the ball. I mean, it's crazy. And then also, Ramir Johnson. Does he still play on our team? He was pretty good last year. Crickets.
He was
Crickets.
He was a gunner.
Omar Masters. I mean, the pass rush that we had to have, crickets.
Yeah.
Can we play any man-to-man? or is that possible?
Well, the thing about that, and I appreciate the call, Mike, the thing about it is, if Nebraska's going to be 3 deep or quarters or palms or whatever coverage it is that they want to play, it cannot just be on the cornerback play. Where's my leverage? Where's support? How do we get lined up? They've really got to shore some things up on the back end because they had some bright spots. I thought, for Gifford to play that many meaningful minutes, I mean, I was pleased with the way that Isaac Gifford played. I thought he competed.
Reaction.
He battled. He was in position to make plays. Not a fake tough guy.
Yep.
Does the things off the field to give him a chance to be successful on the field, which is definitely something not everybody can say. So I'm proud of I'm proud of the way Gifford played. The pass rush was interesting because I felt like Northwestern's passing game, I mean, it was so rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
And you just couldn't get him off his spot because it was like snap, ding, 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 balls out. Snap, ding, 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 balls out. And it's like, we've either got to give a different look out of that shell or move pre-snap. But they had a good idea of how Nebraska wanted to play defense. I mean, they really did. And then, when you can just line up and run counter and tag, and it makes it tough.
Oh.
They got formationed. They got formationed a couple of times too, which can happen in the opener. You just have to try to limit the damage that those particular plays do, because you're going to see something that you haven't seen. But that's where you have to kind of go back to base rules.
I mean, look at how many games you can win. I don't know, win or steal if you feel like you're the lesser team. If you can just win on the offensive line, what you can do there.
Yeah. Well, that was definitely the strength of their team.
I mean,
they bring those 4 guys back, and
then
they had their way. They were really in rhythm, especially as the game went on and Nebraska started to wilt. It got fairly easy.
Well, the last 15 plays they ran were all runs. I mean, they just lined it up and said, we're going to run the ball.
Yeah, I wondered real time, because remember in 11 when Northwestern ran it 18 times in the game, I was like, gosh, they're going to get close to doing this again.
And they were going to run a 4-minute drill to finish the football game. Yeah. And I mean, that's demoralizing when they're just going to run the ball and you still can't stop it. But before we go to break, Mike brought up the running back. So Ramir did play on special teams. Gabe Irvin, don't believe played at all.
Oh.
I know he was dressed. He did not play. So they went Grant, and then they went Yant, which was ineffective. And then they went A.J. Allen early and then into the fourth quarter. And we were talking about A.J. Allen. When will be the first time that he sees significant snaps? Didn't think they would be early on in the fourth quarter. And I would imagine moving forward we would see more.
Yeah.
But that was a weird rotation at running back because I don't recall a lot of series where Grant played consecutive series.
Well, early he did. I'd probably have to go back and look at that. I think early he did.
That might have been the first,
he was
first drive where they were really comfortable, and then he played the second drive.
I'd have to go look at the part.
But then I think Yank
drive
came in.
chart. I mean, I think Yank only ended up with 3 carries, and 2 of them were in the second half.
Yeah, he's ineffective. He was ineffective on Saturday.
Don't believe me.
No. But back to another point that you were talking about getting guys lined up. You will cringe if you go back, and it's probably second quarter. It's on a Northwestern scoring drive. Is Miles Farmer trying to do his job, and his job became, hey, I got to be physical and run support. There are times that you can see on a wide shot, he's just simply trying to line guys up.
I know.
And that's a man. And it's not like Miles Farmer has been here and played, started for multiple years.
It sounded weird to say out loud, and I wasn't trying to be like Mr. Skeptic, and I said a couple. I always try just to see, like, all right, is this just me? So I'd say it a couple different ways. It was, hey, I know Coach Fish is a good teacher, or hey, I know they have a lot of bodies, or simply there would be times I'd say, gosh, I don't know. It just doesn't I'm just not comfortable with those guys on the back end. And I'm not saying Dismuke and D. Will were lights out. I'm not. I wasn't saying that. What I was saying is when you play too high and you play the style of defense that Coach Chins wants to play, you have to be good on the back end. And right now they're just okay because those guys – I think Buford is talented. I really do. I think he's a little unsure. Nebraska has to decide, listen, if I'm in the shell game and that's how I want to line up and Northwestern's running tag at me repeatedly, I got to get down into the box. I cannot pre-snap be at 12 to 14 yards and think that I'm going to get down into the box on a run read. But what did Northwestern do? They showed them the flash play where number 2 gets vertical in a hurry. They give you run action with the little down block, and he runs right by 2 safeties that aren't sure with what they're seeing. So they kept them honest that way. It's just like, wow, this is I'm just not sure how real time, short of calling like a 5-minute timeout.
Yeah.
And I'm dead serious because you have to kind of revisit the concept that Northwestern is trying to do. And I know Coach Chins knows what he's saying, but to get the guys to see it, I mean, little things like dropping your bum or inside versus outside shoulder or just playing leverage, getting down into the box. I mean, big fundamentals.
Yeah. And from guys that have played a lot of football too. I got exposed. All right, 6:38.
Did we see Magla Clements a ton? I got a
maybe briefly in the first half
to drill back down.
Maybe when Ryan,
I haven't seen. Did you see the player participation chart?
Yeah, so it changes initially because that is done from upstairs by the stat crew.
Yeah.
They've got 42 on it, but then the staff goes back when they go through the film and they do the tackles and that kind of stuff. Then they update that. He may have come in when Reimer got hurt in the first half.
We didn't
for just a little bit.
We didn't get to 49.
The stat crew had 42.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Remember we set the total at 49 and a half.
Yeah.
Still not very deep.
No. And then so I think he might have come in for Reimer in the first half. And then remember Hausman was playing in the second half.
Yeah.
And boy, did Northwestern know when Hausman walked on the field.
They just that isn't lack of talent. It's really inexperienced.
All right.
Magla Clements did play. I just wonder how many snaps he got.
I'll look that up in the break. 39 past the hour. Coming up a little bit later on the show, the Rooferys with John Higgins Weather God bring you our lineup. Scott Shanley will stop by. The preseason is over. It's done. Now we're on to the start of the NFL season week from Thursday. He'll join us coming up at about 8:40. And then Jimmy Watkins with some thoughts. The next time Scott Frost talks to the media will be tomorrow. Nebraska is back, and they play this weekend against North Dakota, so they practice today. All right, off and running. There's Damon. I'm Gary. Chance here as well. Sharp betting in the morning on a Monday, Reaction Monday, after week 0, 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
So it is just like Sabir says. It's just a walking move.
They SEAL Team 6 into Mount Doom.
I mean, what kind of an action-adventure story is this? You don't meander into the breach.
Well,
you attack the breach.
Watch
You charge
the Battle
into the
of
breach.
Helm's
What a dumb story this is.
Okay, it's Frodo. Imagine Nick trying to go into like a really protected area.
Again,
Nick
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
After a slight chance of showers and storms this morning, we'll see morning clouds give way to afternoon sun. Still staying warm today, a high of 86 in Omaha. Low humidity, be comfortable with winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies tonight and cooler, a low near 60. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report on the right shoulder of I-480 near Martha Street, so please be cautious if you are in that area. And then we are also getting reports of an obstruction on the roadway along westbound I-80 between 42nd and 60th, so please be cautious if you are in that area as well. And then if you're traveling along L, be prepared for some major slowdowns from 96 to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
IBEW has immediate openings for residential electricians. You'll receive top pay, fully funded family health care, retirement benefits, and up to a $1,000 sign-up bonus. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call 402-810-0789 now.
At Dingman's Collision Center, you voted them first place in Best in Omaha for the past 17 years. So they want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and their incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, they'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options, and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Introducing the all-new 2 for $5 menu at Sonic. Can't decide on what to eat? We made the choice a little easier for you. Right now at Sonic, you can choose any 2 of these mouth-watering classics. The full-size Fritos chili cheese wrap, small crispy jumbo popcorn chicken, or a juicy quarter-pound double cheeseburger for just $5. Get more of what you want with the all-new 2 for $5 menu, only at Sonic or in the app. Exclusions apply. Mobile ordering available at select locations. Hours may vary. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins. Fritos is a trademark of Frito-Lay North America, Inc. Copyright 2022.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth with Creighton Volleyball here. The 2022 season has arrived, and we need you in the stands as we look to defend our Big East title. Our 15-match home schedule is one of our best ever. In addition to our tough Big East slate, we are also hosting some of the top teams in the country, including Kentucky, USC, and Nebraska. Don't miss any of the action this season and get your tickets online now at gocreighton.com/buy. Go Jays!
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and includes 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Sharp and betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
Lost in the game the other day because of the result. We're probably not even going to talk about the two officials that went down. The one dude that did splits in the end zone.
It'd be all right.
And the replay review that did not go Nebraska's way. Also, Fox's coverage, the television coverage. I don't know if they're using local guys in Ireland or not. I know why Benetti, I got my answer on why Benetti was with Heward in a studio in L.A. It's because he was doing Peacock yesterday. He had a prior commitment to do the baseball game.
Hey,
so that's why he did not go over to Dublin.
Do you remember you had the conversation? We had the conversation of guys that have to play well.
Mm-hmm.
And we took one on defense. Do you remember the guy that I said?
Oh, on Saturday?
No, this was probably a couple months ago, and who needs to play well versus who we want to play well. We did that little exercise. Do you remember who I said it was on defense?
I believe you said number 42.
It's Ty Robinson. Isn't it strange kind of watching him try to get to where you think he's capable of being?
Yeah. That's fair.
And good, bad, or indifferent. If he's not good, it's just the reality of it. It's not. If he's not good, Nebraska doesn't have a ton of options, in my opinion. And I don't know if I so much worry about them defensively over the long haul, because I think you can get lined up correctly. Okay, you need more reps, right? And you can't throw in the towel on the season, so you have to coach them up. But at the point of attack, they're going to have to protect that front four. You maybe are going to have to give some things up on the back end. And I know, you don't want it thrown over your head, but you have got to get back to plus wanting. I don't know if I just maybe you have to put guys on the move. I just don't think you can line up and play it just yet.
How much do you think? Were you surprised at the tackling?
Well, they didn't. I don't think they put pads on in Ireland.
Oh,
and I was already worried about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't talk about
missed arm tackle.
I didn't
tackling
that
arm
whole
tackling
game, this whole week. I didn't talk about tackling one time because I mean sometimes you just get what
you deserve.
Yeah, Did you see that picture the other day? Jay and I were talking about this Foreman. There was a still. Nebraska was back in Lincoln, and I think I still have it. It was out of the football account, and it was a defensive player, and he was in the secondary, and he had his hands reached out like he was going to tag off.
Yeah,
I mean, and his hands weren't even in the video. Like he never even got to his hip. Like those aren't real plays. You're not going to get there in a real game if you don't. You just that's not rocket science.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements of Saturday where were lost in the previous 7 months,
and that's not what I thought. That's just not. It makes me want to go back and kind of revisit what was happening at the point of attack in a given setting too, because I liked those guys. I liked the middle guys. I should say, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I liked the middle guys. I mean, I don't know. It's a head scratcher.
Well, some veteran guys.
Some of it was
some veteran guys that needed to play well right out of the gate didn't play well.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Henrich had maybe one of his worst halves he's ever had at Nebraska in the first half. This was not good. and they can't afford for him. They can't afford for him and Reimer, and I put them together because they're playing it inside, to take a step back, to not be good game by game. I mean, they're just not built to have that happen. Ty Robinson had the lowest overall grade from PFF on the defensive
I'm
front.
not a huge PFF guy in terms of college, but I do get the measurables. It's okay. I kind of grain of salted, but that makes sense. You know,
him and Nelson played the most snaps together at 71 of the 85. I mean, Northwestern snapped the ball 85 times.
Oh, that's a lot.
Newsome and Buford played every single snap on defense.
I see it correctly. Benhart had the highest offensive line grade.
Yep. And the left side with Prohaska and Corcoran, a little bit of rust there, did not play well.
I'm not coming down on a lot of foreshadowing about Teddy. So I'm not.
There looked like some rust there.
I mean, what did we expect?
Here is little Walter. Hello, Walter.
Hey, man, I'll just say morning. I can't put that good out there right now.
What's up, little Walter?
Hey, guys. You know, number one, I guess like everybody else, very disappointing, especially on a national audience when everybody's watching you. I mean, it just would have been a great plug for the university, Nebraska, the fans, just our program to kick off this year. I mean, I just think it's a very bad thing that's going to impact us one way or the other unless we turn this thing around. And physically, we just got dominated. But last week I called you, and if you guys remember, and I said, you know, if they were to lose, which one would it be harder on to really refocus? Would it be the players or the coaches? And I think you guys had said probably the players would refocus. It may be tougher on the coaches.
I didn't bat an eye. I definitely said the coaches.
Yeah. And my question would be, you know, what are your thoughts now after watching the game? Do you still feel that way? And then the second part of my thinking is, because Scott's not calling any offensive plays, do you think he was looking for a chance to call a play that would impact the game, and that's what led to him calling that onside kick?
Maybe.
I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I really appreciate you guys, respect you, and thanks for getting me on.
Thanks, Walter.
That is a fantastic question. Never once thought about it until that second. Was that the opportunity to put his fingerprints on the game?
Not getting credit for what's happening. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know definitively, right? But it is just
the fact that we have to bring it up and you ponder it just for a moment.
And he did say, you know what? He's like, hey, man, that's on me. So, I mean, maybe. But again, I'll even double down. Much more difficult for the staff than it will be for the players. Now, there is the trickle-down effect because the players need to be led.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the players could be the byproduct, but got to be the staff. It's got to be the staff.
I hated the word cooperation.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I hated the whole thing about it's the first time with this arrangement.
I'm telling you all you need to know.
But to use the word cooperation, I mean, you can't say that after game one. You just can't. I mean, my God, Mark Whipple has been run over by 2 Power 5 coaches in the last month.
Yeah, and you know what? For all intents and purposes, if you just looked at the stats, you'd think, oh, okay, that wasn't bad. And wasn't it my man Eric? Wasn't it Stu Manji that gave you guys the 28-point nugget?
Yeah. Well, Thompson, how many times did Adrian throw for over 350? Twice, maybe?
Dude,
Thompson was 355.
Casey Thompson was going for 10 per completion at one point. You know, but what did we say? You can't go for the fool's gold, though.
No. And again, and this is, and maybe this question gets asked tomorrow. Something happened to him.
Who?
Did he re-injure his thumb?
You talking about went off to the scramble?
Yeah, because all of a sudden, everything was off. Like throwing the football.
He, at no point really outside a quick game, did he look sturdy.
His feet were always moving.
I don't know if it was his cleat. He just didn't look sturdy. But I thought for the opener, what he was asked to do, that wasn't bad.
Yeah. Well,
that wasn't bad at all.
The opening drive, who didn't look comfortable?
I mean,
it was a really well put together opening drive.
He missed the 2 big throws, the one on the speed out. But, I mean, did you think the 2 balls, the little crossers, were those coming in hot? The one was behind him, and I understand that.
You're
That
talking
was
about the
tough.
pick to end the game?
The one, the lever, yeah.
Yeah. That was behind him.
That was hot.
Yes.
But I don't, the first one, I'm like,
Oliver Martin didn't help him.
No.
The wide receivers,
listen.
the wide receivers didn't have a very good day as a whole.
You want to revisit my concern with those guys? A good time to talk about that? Bro. No, we did get a breakout player, right? He said if you're looking for a guy that's had a good fall camp, could be a guy like Alante Brown.
Mm-hmm. And it was good to see that he was more involved in the offense. Yeah. In different aspects of the offense, the way they moved him around and where they got him the football. I mean, I think they have a nice collection of wide receivers, but you're going to have to develop some chemistry.
No. They're in trouble.
You got a guy. We have to make the jump of Palmer from wide receiver 3 to 1, which is going to be a challenge. I think they'll get that fixed, but they're not going to have depth.
No.
I mean, you're not.
No.
I mean, thanks, Omar. Thanks for coming.
I'm so good on that, as I have been, but whatever.
Here is Nate. Hello, Nate.
Good morning, guys.
What, Nate?
So first and foremost, integrity is not a problem for me. So I'll say I got this one totally wrong. I'll own it. I screwed it up. It's okay. But let's go through this the positives, right? Okay, so they fixed the penalty issue. It was nice to not be screaming about officials the whole game and stupid false starts and holdings. I'm so glad Cam Jurgens is gone. That makes my soul happy.
Oh Lord, come on, Nate. The guy's a really good player.
Dude's trash, man. Like literally the worst of the worst.
No,
nice guy, really nice guy. I mean, playing trash. Let me specify. I'm not speaking to his character. It was really nice to see some decent special teams play. That punter was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Bill Bush did Bill Bush like Bill Bush does Bill Bush. But how do you fix everything that we screamed about last year and end up with the same result? Adrian's gone, same result. No penalties, same result. Special teams fixed, same result. There's only one commonality in this. There's only one common thread through all of this. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a lone outlier in this. There are plenty of reasons that make me say, hey, I've been telling y'all since the moment he was hired, Scott Frost was a stupid idea, but I'm not going to crucify him for the onside kick.
Yeah, I'm not either. Because
in that moment, Scott Frost is thinking bold statement. Look, I would rather lose boldly than win and squeak out of there. And I did not hate the onside kick call, however bad it worked. And I think everybody saw it when it lined up and he started. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, awesome. Oh, no, he didn't get it. And now it's like Monday morning quarterback time. I didn't hate that call. I really did.
And listen, I didn't like the call, but I don't think that was the factor in the game.
Absolutely was not. I don't even think it was a top 5 factor in the game. Those lines were completely soft. I mean, softer than surgical grade cotton. You could have stuffed a wound with those offensive lines. Terrible. The defensive line was a joke. I mean, did Chenander suddenly forget how to coach defense?
No.
I mean, it looked like Pelini tackling with Cosgrove play calls. It was horrible. Horrible. I'm a Chin fan.
Me too. And I appreciate
Chin fan.
You know what this is what I'm hoping. And this is kind of what I think. I told you last week I don't think that was kind of a Freudian slip when he said, I want to see if these guys are who they think. Wait, I want to see if these guys are who I think they are. There was a little bit of prove it in this. He gave them a little bit of a leash. I think he, like I, thought some things that didn't come to fruition. I do think he's capable of making adjustments. It's not just because I like him. He's going to figure it out because I think he's a good coach. Now, there's a couple things though. If he doesn't want to make philosophical changes, he doesn't have a lot of options. If he wants to make a few philosophical changements, he can tweak the lineup a little bit. But he cannot panic though. So this is a time where if you think you have some young guys that will shoot their shot and can play with some aggression, he's going to have to balance that risk reward. And he's got North Dakota to kind of figure it out. because I think schematically he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I mean, he's totally fine. Nebraska, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it is because I'm not there in the off season. Them being in shape is an issue. When I said the conversation of how when he said the puke thing, there's no way it was going to land well, I meant it. There was no way without people having the context of what's going on in the day-to-day that was going to land well. So he shouldn't have said it, right? Then you got to issue the statement and talk to your staff mainly in your opening statement apology.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, those guys do that. It's not, there's something amiss about the stamina. I'm not making that up. Like you can see it. And the stats bear it out. Now what I don't know, and I'm willing to say this out loud. This is what I don't know. When I don't feel good about myself, it's easier for fatigue to creep in on me.
That's the mental part.
If I feel good about myself and I'm confident, I'm much more willing to push through. So what I don't know is the psyche helping be a physical drain or is the physical drain just a physical drain? I don't know the answer to that question. But again, it can't be one of those deals where you pee on my shoes and tell me it's raining. Like, that is not a fit football.
And this wasn't, I said this on Big Red Overreaction, Heyman. It wasn't the fourth quarter you went, whoa. It was like second quarter, you looked at the defense and went, man, there's some dudes that are gassed.
It wasn't just the defense.
Well, that's the one I was focusing on.
Yeah,
the
no,
most.
I feel it. We see it because of the physicality on which guys got to come play and tackle. I snapped, but because we're friends, I didn't go all in. But you knew I was aggravated when you said what you said about Fitzgerald, intimating that it was like some vacation and that he was too good of a coach. You know why? Because Nebraska didn't put on pads. I felt like we were in a glass house throwing stones. So I cringed when I heard it because I felt like Fitzgerald was too good of a coach to not have them prepared. He knew what his team could handle. Ours didn't.
Well, and Saturday once again affirmed Pat Fitzgerald, and it magnified Scott Frost. All right, Andrew, stay right there. 951-1620. You can join us on a Monday edition of Sharp Betting in the Morning. Again, Nebraska plays North Dakota this weekend. It is the home opener. It is a 2:30 kick.
You like that?
A 2:30 kick?
You like that, huh?
I don't mind a 2:30 kick. Would you rather have it be, if it was 11 a.m., it might be awful sleepy stadium, even being a home opener.
Yeah.
Sharp Betting in the Morning. A little bit later, Scott Shanley coming up. Jimmy Watkins as well on 1620 The Zone.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. It has been a great summer, but a new school year. The fall, crisp, cool weather will be upon us before you know it, and it is time for you to transition into crisp, clear vision. Who can help you do that? Of course, the fine folks at Kugler Vision, voted Best of Omaha, #1 LASIK provider in Omaha magazine. They changed my life in 2018. They can change your life today. Visit their website, schedule a consultation, KuglerVision.com.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here for Jones Bros Cupcakes. Have you tried our new chimney cones yet, Olivia?
They are so yummy.
Chimney cones are stacked on a sugar-coated croissant cone with gelato. We have flavors like birthday cake, strawberries and cream, s'mores, salted caramel, and more.
I love the birthday cake chimney cone topped with a mini cupcake. So good.
Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
We appreciate your support.
Tide presents Laundry Truths, Cold Hard Savings.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot? You know, washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill. $150? Go on. The lower the temp, the lower your bills. Simple. Plus, Tide Pods are designed for a powerful clean, even in cold. Wow, cool tip. Get it? Oh, yeah, I get it.
Turn to cold and save with Tide. Energy savings based on average from switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Are you a self-proclaimed introvert?
Oh, 100%.
You'll love Bite. You can align your teeth with confidence without ever having to leave your home.
No dentist visits?
Not when you order clear teeth aligners from Bite.com. That's BYTE.com. Bite's at-home treatment plans are doctor-directed and start as low as $82 a month. Order your at-home impression kit for just $14.95. That's over 80% off. Just visit Bite.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your clear aligner journey with Bite.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
It happens every day, and homeowners are victims every time, unless they call us. Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing. Recently, a local homeowner with an aging roof had two well-known roofing companies out. Neither found hail damage for an insurance claim, but both happily submitted bids for a new roof. Then the homeowner called Shamrock Roofing. We found significant hail damage and sat with the homeowner when he filed his claim. We were there again when the insurance adjuster came out. And when the insurance company tried to deny the claim, the homeowner appealed with his evidence from Shamrock. The insurance company then approved the full claim for a new roof. Shamrock Roofing helped the homeowner get his roof when the other roofing companies could not. That is exactly why we say call Shamrock Roofing first, especially if you're wondering about possible wind or hail damage. If you have it, we'll find it. One call does it all. Call Shamrock Roofing today or find us online at shamrockroofer.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Sharpen betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, wrapping up this hour. I know you're looking at your watch. If you were consumed by what happened in Ireland and didn't pay attention to anything else, Chase Brown is still Chase Brown in Champaign. Wyoming still has trouble offensively. Vanderbilt, hello. What a trip to Hawaii, and Hawaii football might be bad.
Hey, Vanderbilt hits.
Mm-hmm. I won by 53 on the island.
Hey, I mean, they were bringing some drama. I was like,
This means more in the SEC.
what the? Hey, those all whites look sweet too, though. I liked Vandy's uniforms.
Illinois to me is intriguing. I know it was a depleted Wyoming team, but watch Illinois this weekend at Indiana. They play Friday night.
Yeah, you ain't got to tell me.
They get some offensive line play, and DeVito actually helps them at quarterback.
Gonna be tough, my man. Gonna be tough.
We are on to week 1 of the college football season. We're on to more review on Sharp and Betting in the morning after we return.
Dingman's Mechanical Repair. Service is at the heart of our business. Visit us at dingmansmechanical.com.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From LeBurton, AC, heating, plumbing, and more. Time-saving traffic center. Still getting reports of that accident on the right shoulder of I-480 near Martha Street, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some minor delays from 60th to 42nd. And on Dodge, it looks like you can expect just a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
Shop Lanahaw's Garden Center for the best selection of fall color and seasonal decor. Mums, pumpkins, unique gourds, and more. Think fall, think Lanahaw Nurseries. 192nd and Center.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Psst, come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy.
It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo.
Order now.
Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Husker coverage on 1620 The Zone is presented by Tickets for Less. Tickets for Less is your local source for Nebraska football tickets. Compare and save today at ticketsforless.com. All the Nebraska football news, stories, experts, and coverage you need is on 1620 The Zone.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We are rapidly growing and adding new customers, which means we need new route drivers and service technicians. We have new jobs for those new to the industry with little or no experience and new careers that require knowledge in the coffee and vending world. There's a good chance we have just what you need in a new job. Host Coffee offers competitive pay and understands the work-life balance. Apply today at hostcoffee.net/careers and join our team.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations.
Repeat after me. Our thoughts are like the ocean.
Our thoughts are like the ocean.
Our thoughts create our reality.
Our thoughts create our reality.
We're thinking Geico offers claim service 24/7 with personalized attention from an assigned team.
Geico offers claim service? I wasn't thinking that.
We think it and it becomes our reality.
So, what about washboard abs?
Just give it a go. Think really hard.
Okay, abs.
Yeah, keep thinking.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
Teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hi, thanks for telling my family and me about Toyota's national sales event. We got a new RAV4 during the event, and it's been great.
Well, that makes me happy. Right now through September 6th, it is the best time to drive off in a new Camry Hybrid, Tacoma, and more. So what are you up to?
You know, we took the RAV4 to a great spot, and now we're exploring a cave.
Amazing.
Yeah, my wife talked me into spelunking. I'm actually a complete and absolute amateur. Huh, I could have done without the echo on that.
Toyota's national sales event is on. Visit your participating Toyota dealer today to enjoy every last second of summer. Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 6th.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
I don't know if there's a big difference, but we certainly didn't dominate. And again, I give their staff a lot of credit too. There were some scheme things that they hit us on offense. I think we're going to have to learn as an offensive staff that you got to be a little creative in this league. So we have some things that we can work on. That we did a lot of good things, but it's got to be more of a complete game.
Gonna be a challenge this week in Lincoln. Get ready for North Dakota in your home opener. There was a lot riding on that game, and it just it seems emotionally drained. Like just not even you're up 11 in the first half, up 11 in the second half. Just doesn't seem like guys are having fun, or just that this is happening. I don't know. That's just an observation from afar, watching the game on TV. But just guys' body language and their.
What was your immediate reaction when you heard that quote?
No, stop. Just
wowzer.
There's somebody who I think is searching, and you know what? Hey, the greatest coaches that we know at any level, they're successful. Attention to details. Number one priority: attention to details. But Saturday wasn't lost on Saturday. Saturday was lost before Saturday.
Absolutely.
Day-to-day stuff that you do as a player, as a coach, in your facility, out of your facility, all of those things got magnified on Saturday. We got affirmed that Pat Fitzgerald runs a good football program that knows how to play. And they manage a Big Ten football game with field position, punting. They win the line of scrimmage, and they try and not hurt themselves with mistakes. Coming up a little bit later, Scott Shanley will join us, Jimmy Watkins as well. Let's roll through some calls here on Sharp and Betting in the morning.
Lord have mercy.
1620. As long as you come in, don't say Cam Jurgens is trash. We're good to go. I have no idea what Nate said after that. That was ridiculous. Here is Andrew. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
What's up?
Good win by Westside there. I thought Prep was going to come back a little bit, but that was a good game.
Yeah, we limped to the finish line, man. That was I appreciate that.
The W, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I called you last week, and we talked about one thing that would concern you, and one thing that was kind of a sign of promise. And one thing would concern you, what you said was the defensive line getting pushed around.
Yep.
And then one thing you said that would be a positive was the offensive line doing well, which neither happened. So it made me think, with a new offensive line coach, I'm not smart enough or have enough football knowledge to notice if you guys noticed any technique difference.
Well,
to be that mad, was there a difference in the technique or the style?
This is why this is why I think you can't.
Andrew, thank you.
This is why I'm not. There's no real grade or indictment on Donnie Raiola yet, because schematically, what Nebraska was trying to do with gun handoff run game is not playing to their strengths. So he's at the mercy of how everybody else wants to play offense. Right now, they did end up, Grant, I said, did pop the long run, the 46-yarder. He went 19 for 101.
But he had 9 carries for 2 yards or less, though.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And they weren't good on third and shorts. Short yardage. Yant wasn't good. Grant on short yardage wasn't good. They got stopped on the third down. I thought was the momentum killer, which was equally as big as whatever we want to make of the onside kick. And they turned the ball over inside the 10-yard line. So those things aside, you had a chance to really break that thing open, and we're probably not as focused on the offense. But they have some decisions to make. And I don't know what the answer is because we posed the questions way before Saturday. What does Nebraska do with the quarterback run game if you aren't superior up front out of the gun? I thought they would be underneath center more.
Yep.
But I think they fell in love with the fool's gold.
Okay, so let's break this down quickly here. Because with Casey Thompson, you're not going to have the element of the quarterback run game. He ran one time, looked awkward, running on the goal line.
Then you're going to need some more creativity running the football.
Yeah, and it can't be Logan Smothers racing in from the sidelines to take a play. Even though I liked it, and he was in for one, and then he got, 7 yards, and then there was a 15-yard penalty and a face mask, and then he was right back out, never to be seen again. You can't do that going, hey, look, they're going to have a quarterback run game. So if you have no element basically of that, and your opponents don't respect that Casey Thompson is going to be part of a run game, I mean, what do you have to do? You're going to have extra blocker. I mean, is Travis Vokalek going to be the extra blocker all the time?
Well, so they did have success.
Which, by the way, he did, and that was Vokalek when he was on the field when he was put in that role, did help them.
And this is what I was talking to Brian Wilson about. And I know people like to get mad at B. Will. It's not you don't get mad at people just for like expressing their opinions. And one of the things that he and I were talking about is without the introduction of QB run game, you have to be significantly better than your opponent. Northwestern didn't need QB run game because of the pre-snap looks and how they formation Nebraska schematically. Nebraska was constantly a fitter short, right? Especially when you're playing deep hole. See, early on, and I referenced this in a tweet, Nebraska was playing some 3 deep, right? Where they were in one high, and I know they don't love it, but they experimented with it early to get down into the box. I thought they may stay with it more, but again, Coach Chance can figure that out. I don't worry about that part of it. But for Nebraska offensively, maybe that's now again, still, I wouldn't have said it. Like, he shouldn't have said it to us because he's not talking to us. He's talking to his coaching staff when he says that, hey, we need to be more creative. They do need some sort of versatility in the run game because I'm not sure they're going to be good enough to get in the gun, go zone with no zone read. It's just zone and run the ball downhill. I mean, even Northwestern would give you things like a sweep keep look, inside outside zone, and they did my favorite. I've talked about it before with Amir Abdullah, and they did it against Michigan State where they give you a front side handoff look.
Yeah.
It messes with you.
It does.
It doesn't seem like much, but I'm telling you, sure as I'm sitting here, when we had like 4 consecutive shows in a row about how it holds your insides because you treat it like dive, but they're getting after you with a tag element where they pull guard tackle. It's pretty slick. It's kind of creative, even though there was zero threat of Helinski running the football. It was all for show. Every last bit of it. And it worked. So Nebraska's got to figure out what do they want to do with the types of runs. But I don't know how athletic they are to get out in.
Yep.
I just don't know. I don't think Teddy's healthy. I don't think Turner was game ready. Right? So you can't bury him because it's going to evolve. You just had more control of that outcome than we're acknowledging in those pressers, and so it's gonna hurt.
Here is Adam. Adam, welcome to Sharp Betting in the Morning.
Thanks, guys. I got a chance to go out. My nephew plays for Millard South, and I got a chance to go to the Millard West and South game, and it was freaking fun. It's been a while since I got to go to one of the games, but just a crap load of talent on both teams. I can't remember the damn names, but 28 for Millard West is one of the fastest kids I've ever seen.
That is Williams. That's Jamel Williams' son, I believe.
Is it? It
Yeah.
he can cruise.
Yeah, he's got some wheels.
And then, Millard South's back looks like a miniature Darren Sproles. He's pretty shifty, pretty fun. It was just fun to watch overall. But I was just going to mention, I wish that when it comes to our coaching staff, I just want to trust what they're saying. I don't want to literally say, like in my brain, go, whatever. Let's just see it. I just want to hear him say something that, like, hey, I can get behind that. I know I'm starting to struggle as a Nebraska fan when I'm happy for a coach after we lose. Like, I was actually happy for a Northwestern coach. I literally just like, the dude knows what he's doing. He gets everything he can out of his team. And I think you guys just said it about 15 minutes ago about how Frost just looks. I don't know what it is about Nebraska coaches, but they age about 10 years and 3 years when they coach.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that we got a long season to go, but we just don't know how to win, and that's everybody, even the new guys. You know, Thompson, he's clearly a good talent. The first series, I was like, that's kind of different. That's cool. I didn't see that the rest of the game. I don't know why they changed it up or what they did, but I didn't see that play calling or anything like that the rest of the game. But he didn't even, with Thompson, he never even won in high school. He's never had a winning record. So I just hope that they can get into these kids' heads and probably first the coaches to help them to the seasons. It's a long season ahead.
Yeah. Adam, thanks for the call. By the way, Elkhorn South plays host to Millard South Friday night. That's a huge game.
It'll be a good one.
Did you take anything from the difference? And it was a little bit awkward because they were sitting right next to each other on the press conference. Casey Thompson and Garrett Nelson. One guy just got here, played his first game. The other guy's been here for a while. The way they approached the first loss. Garrett Nelson said, I got no magic words. Casey Thompson said, we're going to be fine. O'Shawn Mathis said, we need to go back to work and act like the loss didn't happen.
Well, I think they're not. So they have a fresher perspective.
Yeah, it was an interesting, like, who's been
the older
here.
older guys have a little bit of that beaten dog syndrome. But they got to take that mood, that vibe. You asked me to give a word that I felt around the program. I said it's tense. They got to relax. And listen, go ahead, say it. Man, Damon, you sound crazy. Not the first time I've heard that. You have to relax. You have to understand that the results are going to be what they are. But in the meantime, you got to be true to whoever it is you are. I don't care who it is. I don't. But they have to get back to being authentic. And it's not just because of Adam's call, but when he said, yeah, I just want to get to a point when a coach says something. See, we don't believe what he's saying because we don't know what his angle is. Yep. So we digest and we talk about it and we debate it for 4 or 5 days. And then the game happens and we're like, see, it meant this. All they need to do, whatever it is, be authentic. Everybody will be better for it. It'll eliminate the back sniping, the any friction.
Yeah.
Because you can address it head on. Just do that.
Stop with the passive aggressive.
Bro. Wowzer. Authentic. Whatever that is. It can work out.
Here is Brian. Hello, B.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, how you doing?
Well, I'll put it like this. My first concern is this. I've been looking. I'm going to say, do you have these offensive linemen for what? The majority of them, like the guards, for like the last 3-4 years, at least 3 years. I don't see whether they run zone scheme and blocking. Like when they run the zone scheme and blocking, I do not like the offensive line. I don't know why we ever run it So to even run a zone blocking scheme without the threat of a zone QB run really doesn't make any sense to me. I thought we got Dominique to teach this team how to
Northwestern didn't
block.
even honor it. I mean, if Casey wanted to keep the ball anytime, he could have. Not all defenses can stop everything, so you have to know where you're vulnerable, what you're willing to concede. And Northwestern was willing to concede QB run game.
I thought we had this new desire to go back to power blocking. I did not see any attempt at that.
I'm with you.
At all.
That was one of the things that I was hard for me because I didn't want to get into. I thought that they would be underneath center a fair amount more. I really did.
And then, oh my God, it drives me crazy every time when I watch teams, Northwestern, Iowa, Wisconsin. And you talk about a formation that's to death. It's weird when you watch it how they always seem like they'll have the declare strong side, but you automatically know that threat, they either run a crossing pattern with the receiver,
coming back to the weak
or
side.
they run those counters back that's going to get the trap on the lineman. Yeah. You always know it's going to be, and I see it, and we get set up for it every game, every year that we lose to these teams, and it's the same concept. I'm like, why can't we not get this figured out? Because it's not just something this year. It's every year when we played Northwestern or the Iowa or the Wisconsin, where they put, and I'm just saying this in normal terms, they declare a strong side. For you people who don't know, they'll throw a tight end or basically look at the ball, look on both sides, find the skilled players and see which side has the most skilled players. Whatever side has the most skilled players, when our team is playing defense and we're not doing good, it's always that backside, opposite side where the threat comes, and we never stop it. And it's every game. Every game. And it hasn't changed for 3 to 4 years. It is ridiculous. I'm not a coach, but I can see this. I can see it. I'm like, come on. This is ridiculous. I do believe that Chinetta maybe, can plug a few holes for a little bit, but to be honest, that offensive line, they haven't been able to block a defensive line in the Big Ten, the Little 10, Big 12, anywhere since I've been watching them. And unless that improves, they're not going to do anything. Yeah. That's all I have.
I think the recruiting misses have really come home to roost as a thin team up. Thin team.
Well, it's uncomfortable because there's no reinforcements on the way, like a freshman or a redshirt freshman that each needs reps. Your reinforcements are your left side of the line is going to one guy's going to knock off some rust, and the other is going to knock off some lack of reps at a new position on the left side. And
you can't do it this year because you need some immediate fixes. But at some point, they have to reset and get back into high schools and start with the development because you whiffed on a class and a half, and it's cost you mightily.
Well, and physicality and fundamentals. You got to put them in a weight program to get them up to the strength of play in the Big Ten.
I don't know, man. Fitness for me is the key.
Here is Quincy. Hello, Quincy.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Q.
EB, I got 3 songs you need to play. The Thrill is Gone, The Big Payback, and All I Do Is Win. I got you wearing the pink shirt saying I'm a #1 fan, brother. I told you. I couldn't wait to see Monday. Ooh.
Pink, huh?
I told you, but you want to sit up here and say your Huskers did. To all you Husker fans,
hey, listen, so. I'm gonna give you the pink shirt and Quincy's #1 fan, but don't sit up here and lie and I said the Huskers anything. If anything, I've given you a snapshot into what I think their problems are. So don't. Right. I'm gonna give you the first part of that, and I'll rock the shirt. But don't go saying I said something I didn't say.
Okay, you're right. But I told you. I stand on it.
Yeah, I'm sick about that.
I'm greatness on a different level.
Thanks, Quincy.
Wow.
Hey, we have 11 more games to go.
I have to wear a Quincy fan shirt. You don't understand.
Is that going to ruffle some feathers?
Nah, I'm cool.
Wait.
I own it. I own it. Well, I mean, what do you want me to do?
Wasn't your fault. Nothing to do with it.
I'm the most upset, I think, at the fact that for some reason I didn't think it would be as glaring as it was, even though we talked about it for like 2 months. Depth in the O-line, concern at safety, conditioning, the offensive concepts, like great big suggestive hints, like, okay, what's Nebraska do with the QB run game if they can't run the ball out of the gun? Like all those things, and it's like, and then it happened.
So the same things are happening, but remember, you were up 28-17.
Oh, I know.
You had 2 11-point leads and lost outright as a double-figure favorite. But when you had the game and you were up 28-17 with all those issues that all of a sudden just didn't disappear because you scored 2 offensive touchdowns to begin the third quarter, that's the game awareness.
Situational awareness, I believe, is the word you're looking for. I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, so all of the numbers that come out after another one possession loss like this, Nebraska's 1-4 in season openers. Everybody knows Frost's record. In the last 7 games, all ended in losses. He's only scored 27 points in the fourth quarter.
You're finding different ways to validate the concerns. Again, the one thing I don't know is where does the psyche tap into the physical in terms of we just can't do it down the stretch? Because it just doesn't look good.
No.
It looks like a team that physically is at no, like did you get the sense that they were going to be able to get a stop?
No.
I mean, they ran about 15 straight times.
Like they were going to have to be aided by Northwestern, either a poor play call on 2nd and long or a mistake during first down, a penalty. That they would all of a sudden be behind the sticks. Which times, 4 of the last 5 drives, Nebraska was able to keep them out of the end zone. But still, they ran the ball 15 straight times to end the game. They took your soul. Coming up later, Scott Shanley. Jimmy Watkins will join us.
Craig, Alex, Troy, Brett. Bang, 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 bang.
Welcome to Monday after a game like that.
Yeah.
They looked all too familiar.
That's why we're here.
It looked like the season never ended from last year. Sharp betting in the morning at 16:20 The Zone.
Irrational confidence.
You get $15 million, but Derrick Henry gets to randomly truck you once a month for the rest of your life. Are you taking the money?
I would take this deal. Why? Because I don't think it would hurt that bad. You just fall on the ground.
You've seen Derrick Henry, right?
I have. You get up, you dust it off, you're fine in 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm taking 15 mil.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone.
Multiple locations give you a lot of opportunities to get it right. It is 42 degrees, the source for all your go-to needs. Clean, friendly, super knowledgeable. With that many products, command of what's going on, that's pretty important. If you got a lot of questions, the fine folks at 42 degrees have a ton of answers. What are their strength levels? It can help you find your right comfort level. They've got vegan, they've got gluten-free. Easy to see why they are the go-to of the go-tos. It's what 42 degrees does. Sizes, easy for me to just throw right there in my gym bag, and I am on my way. Listen, so do yourselves a favor, stop on in and talk to the staff at 42 degrees. Get yourself a free sample. That's all you really need to do. With the new move, the other thing that I've been able to take advantage of is their wildlife pet products. Keep the dogs at bay. Whatever it is, 42 degrees has got you covered. Ton of great locations right by your mom's house. It's 42 degrees.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
After a slight chance of showers and storms this morning, we'll see morning clouds give way to afternoon sun. Still staying warm today, a high of 86 in Omaha. Low humidity, be comfortable with winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies tonight and cooler, a low near 60. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KTV Newswatch 7.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We're still getting reports of that accident on the right shoulder of I-480 near Martha Street, so please be cautious if you are in that area. But we're also getting reports of some road construction, which leaves 2 left lanes closed along I-680 between Pacific and Dodge, and you can expect delays of up to 5 minutes in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some minor delays between 72nd and Gold Coast Road. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer, a big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
Your vehicle is important. It gets you where you need to go, but it does much more than that. I'm Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center, and at Dingman's, we know your vehicle is an investment and that safety is your priority. To make sure your vehicle is as safe as it was prior to an accident, bring it to Dingman's for proper, safe, and certified repairs. We protect you and your investment. We've been voted Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Find us at dingmans.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Summer is over. It's time to settle into your back-to-school routine. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. As teachers, we're excited to see our students again. Parents, help your child. Set a time and a quiet place for homework and establish bedtime routines so your child will be rested and ready to learn. Help us make a bright new beginning for our students this year.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
The passion and excitement of high school football continues every week, and the high school football update covers it all every Saturday morning. Join veteran sportscasters Jim Kelter and Torrey Pantalian Saturday mornings 8 to 10 on 1180 The Zone.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
I have to say, when you have a game like Saturday and you have a big red overreaction, Husker radio caller had a prior commitment, so he was not able to listen. He said he'll be back next week. Don't you have big red overreaction on Saturday for North Dakota?
I don't know.
No?
If I do, I'm not doing it.
All right. I like how you're thinking. Here is Craig as we welcome back into Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620. Hello, Craig.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good,
What's
Craig.
up, buddy?
Yeah, my coworkers are
they're already laughing at me what I'm gonna say to you. Just sitting here and it's like I sent you an email last week about this game, about Northwestern. Every other year being good, bad.
Yeah.
I said, don't be surprised they don't beat us.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Now my take from this game is our offense played well enough to win. Our defense totally let us down. They had a great game plan. We're going to attack that secondary. How many transfers were back there? 3, playing continuously. Same thing with the line. They rotated a few guys on the defensive line. I think this defense just needs some time to gel. And I thought Northwestern was going to win. I didn't. Well, I'm going to say I thought they'd win. I thought they could, and I wouldn't be surprised. And also said, don't jump off the ship if we lose. Because I think that it's going to take some time with all these transfers. This might be with other schools to take all these transfers. I don't know. Well, it didn't hurt Michigan State last year, of course, but I don't know how they started off right away at the beginning of the year last year. I didn't check it out, but I rewatched the game last night. I didn't watch anything on the news or listen to any radio shows because I want to get my own opinion. I'll rewatch the game. I think Thompson had maybe 3-4 passes that were bad. The rest were pretty good. But I think we get a couple games with this defense playing together. I think we're going to be better. So am I drinking too much Kool-Aid?
No, I don't. Listen, I agree on a couple of those points. Number one, I think the defense will have a chance to come around.
They had a bad day.
He typically does. I think, Coach Chin is going to have to make some concessions, right? I think there's a way that he wants to play, and there may be a way that he can't play. So we'll see where the rubber meets the road there. And I said this in the very beginning, and I'm glad you let me off the hook without thinking I'm crazy. The offensive staff, if they could sit down, just hash it out, get on the same page, be the adults in the room, because I think that's clearly what has to happen. I'm going to say that out loud, and I'm going to keep saying it until I think it's not an issue. They have to be on the same page as a staff. That's all of them. That's Donnie, that's Mickey, that's Mark, and that's Scott. Okay, B. Applewhite, he's in the deal too. Be on the same page. Flush all of that out because the offense has some potential, but you can't be stubborn with where your strengths and weaknesses are. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. I mean, I said it in the very beginning, right? You get you get North Dakota, and you get the next 2, and all of a sudden the Oklahoma game becomes paramount because you're 3-1. If you're 3-1, it's a different 3-1 than how you thought, but a lot of people said 3-1. So it doesn't have to be over. You just have to get out of your own way. And listen, I'll cue the guy. Hey, man, it's been 5 years. Why would he get out of it? Because you have some different people surrounding you that you can concede to. And I think it's going to be okay. There just has to be the emergence of adults in the room. Maybe it's something as simple as Coach Frost saying, hey, listen, man, this is what we want to do. This is on me. Said this. Let's do whatever that is. If at 40 some years of age, back against the wall, finally, he could do that. I mean, now you're asking, that is complete glass half full, but it's not impossible. I just don't know. I wouldn't say tomorrow, the part I disagree with, you're just not going to be okay, though. It's going to take some monumental efforts on a couple of people's parts to be okay because they've given you no inkling after 5 years that it's going to be okay. So you can't think that it's going to happen after 5 days without something significantly different happening.
I would like to believe that could happen because for the betterment of the program, you're going to have, before you walk into that said room, you're going to have some people check some things. Again, all for the betterment of the program. That this isn't about you, this is about us. And it's about the guys that we coach. Somebody called up and, the season's over. Why move forward? Which elicited quite the response from yours truly. Is you're going to tell guys in that locker room that, Saturday sucked, but that their season is over? What if you only came here for 1 year?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. That's That may be how a fan can afford to think, but it
That a
can't be.
player.
It can't be as a player.
A player like that, it's a got to go situation. I mean, you shouldn't have been here in the first place. That the relationship now it even, what have we been talking about for 8 months? About the relationship. How is this all going to work? Now it goes into the spotlight even more on what that relationship is going to be like. And you know what? Not everybody has to take credit for how things go if they go well. All right, you can share credit. Share
man.
credit. Share credit. It's for the betterment of the football
And
program.
you don't even have to acknowledge it. Just move on.
Here is Brett. Good morning, Brett.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, so first of all, kind of stepping back to high school football, got to step out of the metro area, went up to Beamer and watched Guardian Angel Central Catholic, little 8-man football. It was a nice start to the weekend. Unfortunately, all went down from there.
They play on fresh grass.
Yes, they did. It was it was a beautiful night.
That smell amazing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
I know it did. I know it did.
The serotonin was
Hey, see, it's weird. Sharpie's laughing at me, but you get it, right? There's something about fresh cut grass on a Friday night under the lights.
Yeah, and that field had about 3 crowns in it. But yeah, Damon, you've kind of been hitting on this, and I was kind of surprised, but kind of not, at the level of fitness of our defense.
Yeah.
And the low hanging fruit is these guys can lift. You can get in the weight room, squat 800 pounds, but if you can't move, you can't stay fresh, especially with some of the depth concerns there are. Over the next month or so, you can fix some of your schematic problems, but once we get in that thick of the Big Ten West schedule, right now you can't really worry about that far down the road, but it's something in the back of my mind that, gosh, how are we going to hold up against some real bruisers? Nothing against Northwestern. They came into that game ready to play and in good shape. But once we get in the thick of that schedule, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys can hold up. And you hope that they can, get some younger guys used to playing in the rotation and keep some of those legs fresh. But it does become a concern,
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for the call.
It's not just because of the grass. That's a really good call. Schematic, you can always tinker with scheme, but he's right about like the depth and the fitness. Now, Northwestern's offensive line was clearly the best unit on the field Saturday, right? If you're ranking the units, it's Northwestern's offense,
Which was exactly how they thought it was going to be, with 4 returning starters.
Yeah, and to the victor goes the spoils. I just saw the tweet from their offensive line coach, and hey, you can say those kinds of things, but I think Nebraska can adjust, at least in terms of how they want to play it going forward, because Brian hit on something. Without a dry erase board, it's kind of hard to get into, but playing pullers, squeezing, whether you spill, who's the force, alignment adjustments, like stuff like that, you got to be willing to do some things differently based on how teams are attacking you, because it'd be interesting to chart like Nebraska with tag plays and defending some of these particular type runs, what typically happens, because it's become kind of a copycat thing. Shoot, we saw Illinois do it in the opener last year and found a way to work on the edges. So, that might be a homework project. I don't know.
One quick thing here on the offensive line. I agree with you. And you would think, okay, you got reinforcements on the way. You have a freshman you really like, or a redshirt freshman that just needs some reps, and interior defensive line. Come on. There was a guy that just showed up. Basically, he showed up. They gave him a uniform, took him to Ireland, and he played more snaps than a guy that's been here for a while. Drew played more snaps than Win.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen.
Yeah.
If you're Win. If you're Drew, you're like, man, I got 24. Where's my 34 against North Dakota? So there's nobody that's walking in the door that you're saying, we'll get them coached up and they'll be ready to go. We just need to get them out there. Same way the offensive line. Here are the snaps on offensive line. Teddy Turner and Hickson, so tackle guard center, played all 75 snaps. Benhart on the other side played all 75 snaps. Bando at the guard spot played 56. Bukowski played 19, Hunter Anthony 2, Ethan Piper 2. Kevin Williams did not play. So your first game out of the box, okay? And it was, wasn't warm, but it's your first game. You had 4 of your 5 offensive linemen played every single snap.
Yeah. We didn't think they'd play more than 7.
And essentially they played 5 and a 4th.
Yeah.
And there's no 2 more to come.
Tough, because I kind of shrug for those of you watching on television.
All right, 7:55. Next hour, Scott Shanley will join us. Jimmy Watkins with his thoughts as well. Again, Nebraska is going back to practice today because they got to. They play this weekend. Northwestern is standing in line at Customs in Dublin. Nebraska's getting ready to practice today. Tomorrow will be the day that you hear from the head coach and you start to hear from the coordinators all week. But North Dakota's here. It is the home opener, 2:30 on Saturday. And what will probably, leading up to Oklahoma, be a couple of long weeks. I mean, who else is going to dunk on the head coach? Not dunking on the program, they're dunking on the head coach. All right, 7:56. Sharp betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Is ready to get you started with the college football season. It kicks off this week. Some great games on Thursday. Yeah, we're talking week 1, not week 0. And right now with FanDuel, new customers can get $150, Damon, in free bets guaranteed for week 1. All you have to do is place a $5 bet, get $150 in free bets, win or lose.
Yeah, that's 30-1, and it's guaranteed, right? That's a heck of a return on just a little bit of an investment. That's what FanDuel does. Make sure you get to the app, get it downloaded, enter the promo code ZONE. Guaranteed means guaranteed, man. They'll get you covered. It's just who they are. It's safe, secure, it's easy to use. Plus, if you're some of these guys out here like Gary Sharp, man, those payouts are quick.
Hey, there are some great games week 1. Check out Appalachian State. Now it's down to 1. Favorite at home against North Carolina, among others, in a great week 1 slate. So join with FanDuel, download the app, use the promo code ZONE. That's promo code ZONE when you place your $5 bet to get $150 in free bets guaranteed to kick off the season. That's promo code ZONE, 21 and present in Iowa. Personal online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. If you've played golf this summer and you haven't been that happy with your game, Mike Faber, their director of instruction, he can help you out. Give Miracle Hill Golf a call today at 402-498-0220. Book lessons or book a round of golf, whether it's a quick 9 after work, a full 18 on the weekend, the Top Tracer building. You can get your golf game right. 402-498-0220, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
You want to go to a professional sporting event, you want to go to a college sporting event, you want to go to a play, you want to go to a concert, go where I go, ticketsforless.com. When I'm looking to find the best seats to the show or the big game, I go to ticketsforless.com, formerly Ticket Express. Same great customer service, and most importantly with ticketsforless.com, no outrageous ticket fees when you get ready to check out. The ticket price you see is always the price you pay. Unlike the other guys, they don't tack on a per-ticket service fee at checkout. It's ticketsforless.com. Get yourself in the game today.
Tide presents Laundry Truths, Cold Hard Savings.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot?
You know, washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill. $150? Go on. The lower the temp, the lower your bills. Simple. Plus, Tide Pods are designed for a powerful clean, even in cold.
Wow, cool tip. Get it?
Oh yeah, I get it.
Turn to cold and save with Tide. Energy savings based on average from switching from hot to cold and non-AC machines.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
From harsh winters to blistering summers, Mother Nature can be a real pain sometimes. And Ty's Outdoor Power Superstores have everything you need to keep her in check season after season. Ty's is the largest Hustler dealer in the United States. It's where you'll find 17 expert technicians ready to service your equipment. We'll even assemble your purchase at no extra charge, test it out to make sure it's running right, and deliver it right to your home. So skip the big box stores and get to Ty's Outdoor Power Superstores in Omaha, Gretna, and Lincoln today.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
There's nothing quite like listening to the Kansas City Royals line ball to deep left. To the wall. Leaps. On 1620 The Zone.
Sharp and betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
So I was just pointing out Appalachian State, who I saw last night's a 2-point favorite, down to 1. You see Ohio State now is up to 17.5?
Yeah.
Where do you think that one will land?
I don't know, but I mean, apparently Notre Dame is playing with like half a squad or.
I went up 3 points on the weekend.
Well, I had seen 16s.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd seen a ton.
I hadn't looked at it in a while.
But man, it just seems like a ton.
Mm-hmm. Well, and now I'm starting to wonder where it's going to land.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got more to go?
I got to get into Notre Dame and see. Maybe they're not as healthy as I think.
Let's grab Alex before the end of the hour. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to Sharp and Betting in the Morning on the Zone.
Good morning, gentlemen. Second verse, same as the first, eh?
Yeah.
I tell you. So on the first drive, I know everybody was kind of looking at this game and wanted to see how Thompson was going to look on the first drive. He looked pretty sharp on the first drive, but immediately, the hair on the back of my neck started to stand up when I saw the lack of commitment to the run game on the first few drives. And I was like, oh boy, something's not right here. So it's I think it's going back to something that I think one of your previous callers, and maybe you might have said it, Damon, is just a lack of depth on the front lines there on both sides of the ball, because this year, you've got Thompson, but have you heard them talking about who their number one running back might be, or is it running back by committee? But there was a lack of just commitment to the run game, which is very alarming on the offensive side of the ball, all things considered. But on the other side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, I think that, Coach Chin, he benefited last year from having an eraser. And that eraser was JoJo Domann. The guy was all over the place, right? And this year he doesn't have the eraser, so he's going to have to find an eraser. But JoJo covered up a lot of things last year that they never really had and haven't had in a while, and that's just frontline push from the front four. And so if you can't get push from your front four, that's going to expose your back seven, all day. And so those two things kind of stood out to me immediately before we even got out of the first quarter. It was like the front lines on both sides of the ball are not getting any push. And that it just kind of went, downhill from there. So, and then the last thing I was going to say was, I think a previous caller said this about Northwestern is one of those teams that every other year they really surprise you and they creep up on a lot of people because they're better than where they are. Because let's face it, Fitz is actually a pretty doggone good coach.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I think like the fourth most tenured coach in college football right now. So the guy knows what he's doing over there. So let's give Northwestern a lot of credit too, right? They're a better team. They're a much more improved team than they were last year. But offensive side, defensive side, line play, it just has not been there for a long, long time, and it's just continuing to show. But thanks a lot, guys.
I agree. I agree with a lot of that. That's so what he said in a few short words is what I was saying with Shenaners about. I know how he wants to play schematically, but he may have to make some changes because he doesn't have some of the things that he's used to, right? So you're either going to he's got two choices. You can either kind of go young and shoot your shot, or you're going to have to change a little bit philosophically because they can't stay with what it is right now. I just have confidence that he's going to go with it. And I also agree. I mean, JoJo was an eraser. I never understood the better talent level thing. It drove me crazy, but because let me ask you something. We probably got to get to Ronald. Are we going to get them on the back end?
Yeah.
So hold this thought on the other side after we get to these guys after halftime. Who looked like they had the better players? Northwestern or Nebraska? Just think about that for a minute. What we don't know is it? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in there.
We'll do that next. Ronald, Vince, stay right there. Still got chat with Scott Shanley and Jimmy Watkins on a Monday edition of Sharp Betting in the Morning on 1620 The Zone.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deals for 2 general admission passes for the price of 1 to Hillside House of Hell in Glenwood with 4 terrifying attractions. Iowa's largest haunted attraction just 25 minutes from downtown Omaha. Get 2 general admission passes for the price of 1 to Hillside House of Hell haunted attraction. This week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
NFL season, the preseason, as you know, is over, and now it is on to the regular season. And if you are a Chiefs fan or you're a fan of any of the 8 teams they will play at Arrowhead Stadium, here's your opportunity, courtesy of my good friends at ticketsforless.com. They're going to take care of you. Right now, they have 20% off all Chief home game tickets. But this is what you have to do to take advantage of this fantastic offer. I mean, a fantastic offer. You have to go to ticketsforless.com. The Chiefs and the Chargers are the first game. It's week number 2. You want to be in the house for that game. So go to ticketsforless.com. Find the seats in Arrowhead where you want to be. You know, they also have the Bills. They have the Raiders. They have the Broncos. They have a great slate. You don't want to miss any games at Arrowhead. Ticketsforless.com is going to take care of you. So go to ticketsforless.com. Find the seats that you want. You have only until 5 today, but you've got to call. So once you find your seats, call 402-398-1999. That's 402-398-1999. First of all, go, this is an incredible deal, and then say, this is where I want my Chief tickets, and they will apply the discount. That's ticketsforless.com.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some major slowdown from 192nd to 186th along Center. Then on Dodge, be prepared for some minor slowdowns from 90th to 77th. And along Highway 370, it looks like you can expect a little bit of a delay from Richland Drive to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Come on, when was the last time you had your Fernando's fix? It doesn't get any better than lunch, dinner, carry-out, even catering from Fernando's. Get your Fernando's fix. 114th and Dodge, 75th and Pacific, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hi, thanks for telling my family and me about Toyota's national sales event. We got a new RAV4 during the event, and it's been great.
Well, that makes me happy. Right now through September 6th, it is the best time to drive off in a new Camry Hybrid, Tacoma, and more. So what are you up to?
You know, we took the RAV4 to a great spot, and now we're exploring a cave.
Amazing.
Yeah, my wife talked me into spelunking. I'm actually a complete and absolute amateur. Huh, I could have done without the echo on that.
Toyota's national sales event is on. Visit your participating Toyota dealer today to enjoy every last second of summer. Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 6th.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Sharpen betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
Oh, there, one of the first by Thompson.
They'll go draw for Grant, and Grant weaving his way, bucking through a tackler, and off he goes. Grant surges in for a 46-yard touchdown. You want muscle? Oh, baby, that was...
Halftime, Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, brought to you by Harsh Cigars, Pipes, and Lounge. You want to enjoy a nice cigar, a little cocktail, maybe relax, take a little stress off, shoot the breeze. Harsh Cigars, Pipes, and Lounge has got you covered. Pretty cool setup inside. Great location off the North 48th Street exit and the Mormon Bridge Road.
All right, so part of that Grant scenario that led to the touchdown, Vokalek was used as an extra blocker, cleared out a guy. Grant got to the hole and then cut back. But the
made two free defenders miss too.
There was the part of the Vokalek experience: 5 targets, 5 catches. They were all for first downs, by the way. Vokalek played really, really well, but then he went down with an ankle injury. He said after the game, it's not going to be an issue. For Nebraska's sake, it better not be an issue. I don't think it will be. I think he'll be there on Saturday because he left the game and things changed. But you also there's the part of in that game, even when it gets to be 28-24, is the offense, which when it was 28-17, by the way, only ran the ball 7 more times after that, is there's one captain on offense, and there's really one guy that's been talked about if you're looking for leadership on offense, and he wasn't on the field for the crucial part of the game due to an injury.
Agreed.
And he couldn't come back. I mean, you couldn't put him back out there because he wasn't going to be effective at all on that bad ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was another element of Saturday.
It's subtle too. It doesn't take long for stuff like that to show up when you're built around a certain thing or certain way, and it's not available. Like, it can show up in a hurry. I mean, fudge. We just saw it. I saw it on Friday night in our own game.
With your son.
Well, that, and I mean, Bo 42 gets cramps, and it's 3 series in a row where he can't play, and you lose a little bit up the middle. Stuff changes in a hurry, and when you play against teams that don't go away, you have to be on your game.
Yeah,
you just have to be. You just have to be on your game.
I mean, Vokalek was a safety valve for Thompson. He was also a guy that when they would throw him the football, he would go beyond the sticks. So he wasn't cutting off. You need 7. He's not cutting off a route at 5.
And Northwestern was willing, it seems, to concede that at least early on. It's not by design you want to give up, over 10 yards per catch to Vokalek. But I think at the time they were trying to pick their poison. You can't stop it all. Right? I mean, we get a lot of these guys that like to talk rules defensively. Well, he did this because of the, and at some point you have to say to yourself, okay, where's my immediate threat?
Mm-hmm.
You You short stuff, long stuff. When they run tiered routes, you can always rally and come make a tackle on the short stuff. That's why he stays deep as the deepest guy. If I'm a force on the edge and I've got two backs coming at me, I'm probably going to take the most dangerous, right? Like they're just things that happen situationally that I think you have to constantly be reminding yourself of because they aren't good enough physically to not be in the moment. You have to stay in the moment. And so I ask you the question again. Do you think who were the top players on Saturday's game and what team did they play for?
Let me approach this a different way and see if you agree with me. Best play, the most impactful player for Nebraska was a punter.
Correct.
In a field position game, which you did not win the field position game. And 2 second-half touchdowns by Northwestern on short fields. So pose the question again. Who had the best players?
Who did you think? Yeah, who did you think if you took a top 5 players and you exclude the punter, who were they?
Vokalek and Gifford are in there for me for Nebraska.
Okay.
I would take Hull and I would take Porter for Northwestern. Can I take their offensive line as a group?
Yeah. Do you like Malik Washington?
I liked him. He was sure-handed. But he didn't wow me.
Yeah.
The Northwestern basically didn't wow anybody. They played a solid Northwestern Big Ten football game.
So my point is, in asking you that, is does it look like that because Northwestern knows who they are?
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting at with that.
Yeah. What does Northwestern do, Damon? Their
roles are so well defined. It just allows them to flourish. That's why they just look better. I don't know if they're better players per se. Like if you're a captain and we're go out in the playground and you're just going to pick a guy, but because they know what they're doing and their roles are well defined, they look really good.
What is the staple of Northwestern in their every other year where they're really, really good and they win the West Division? They usually have a pretty good punter. So they play the field position game. They have a fairly good offensive line. They also have benefited. Thorson and Ramsey were solid quarterbacks, not overwhelming, but they were solid quarterbacks that took advantage of everything you gave them.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't try and do too much. And then they don't make mistakes. So didn't Northwestern play the most ideal game that they could? And they might go, yeah, you know what? We have some deficiencies. If we do all of these things, because that's what we do at Northwestern, we're going to be fine. And oh, by the way, we feel pretty good about our ability to run the football because of our offensive line and how physical we are.
Mm.
If you have an offensive line and you can run the football, just running the football, offensive line, physicality and fundamentals, look how far down the road you are. I keep going back. I watched that Illinois game yesterday. So they jumped on Wyoming, and Brown was great. But if Illinois gets good offensive line play, they may steal a game or two this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of stole a couple of games last year when they went on the road and won at Penn State and Minnesota. I look at them and I think that's the West Division. That's unless you have elite talent.
Be consistent and steal one?
No, be consistent. And even when you might be up against it, as long as you are consistent on the offensive line, you're able to run the football and fundamentally you play the game the right way up front, you may have a chance to win a game where you're double-figure underdog.
Yeah. You just kind of get the sense that Nebraska is still a little too smoke and mirror. Right? Because when it mattered, it did manifest itself. You know what I mean?
So is that DNA?
I don't know. DNA to not know who. Maybe.
Comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a philosophical thing.
Here is John to kick off this hour. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
What's up, John? How are you?
Hey, couple of things. I think we have Nebraska guys on defense who grew up Nebraska fans, and they're trying too hard, and as a result, they lose their assignments. The other thing that I don't think has been talked about, but this was huge to me, was Nebraska's a team that needs confidence, and they're up with 2 minutes to go at half, and Frost starts calling timeouts to try to get the ball back. Gave Northwestern some momentum and some time. Northwestern goes up 17-14 instead of going into the locker room 14-10. So then my thought is, what are these guys thinking in the locker room? Here we go again. We're up, and we give up a late touchdown. So, I just think I'm a Frost fan, and I'm glad he came back. But Saturday was really disheartening. I mean, that fake kick, that just can't happen. And here's my last thing about Frost. I think he still coaches like he's Scott Frost, the man. Like he's coaching like he's 13-0 at Central Florida. The guy did not learn. He's 15-30, and instead of trying to change things up and say, "What am I doing wrong? I'm 15-30." He still coaches the same way.
Yeah.
John, thanks for the
Somebody
call.
said that to me Sunday. Was it the? How was the question posed to me? Is this his personality trait? Like just not still the same guy X amount of time ago. Maybe. I don't know.
What about this whole decision making and what goes into some decisions? There's a part of me that this. You got to know your opponent. So sometimes when you're trying to make a key decision in the game, you have to know your opponent. And man, it sucks if I'm Scott Frost that everybody around the league is dunking on me personally, but they are waiting for you to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna try and win.
I'm with you though. That's
why they're gonna give you the game at some point. They're gonna give you an opportunity.
That's why I'm not bent out of shape about any particular one thing. I didn't come on here and go crazy over the onside. I didn't come on here and go crazy over the one-time Logan Smothers appearance or whatever, right? I tried to talk about what they could do schematically, how that can evolve, the lack of depth, some of that stuff. But the real issue is what you're talking about. Until there's like this, until there's this reevaluation of how to do the offseason and preparation work and what went into a particular game, a lot of this is going to happen. Because remember, everybody has film and tape.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about your preparation. Like this game, we're making it about just Saturday. This game was decided way before this thing kicked in Dublin. Is that not evident?
No, we've said it all morning. Yes, we're in agreement here.
Okay. Because, can't go back and get that.
It's attention to details being number one priority. And what do you do day to day? Not on Saturday. What do you do day to day? There's some. You also said something that I think is going to stick with me. No, but this is a good thing.
What is
so in our discussion, in the first hour about the onside kick, and I didn't like it because I'm looking at a Northwestern offense that already plays field position and they're not explosive. That even if they drive 75 yards on me or 80 yards, I still want them to drive on me. Okay, I'm not going to give them a short field when I'm up 28-17. Usually I look at an onside kick as a thing to change the game, not of we got momentum and let's try and throw a knockout punch. So that's why I didn't like it at the moment. But you said something that I think is really important, that if you're going to make a decision as a coach like that, and listen, the whole tone of the day has changed if the ball is kicked a little bit closer to the sideline.
Yeah, but you still don't know. You still don't know if you're going to score on that possession.
I know, but this is where I'm going. So it's 28-17. You hold on to the football, whatever. But if I'm on the sidelines, and my coach has, in his decision-making since I've been with him, either during a game or as I've seen him evolve when we're not playing a game in front of the public, he's got some cash in the bank. He's made some deposits.
You don't mind that call?
That I can trust him.
Yeah, you don't mind that call.
And don't you think it's the same way? And because you also added this, and this is important. If I'm working with you, like we work together, so we both make key decisions. But we both have put deposits in the bank. So I trust when you make a decision for the betterment of the show because I trust you. And we've done that before and it's going to turn out. So I'm like, go ahead. Let's do that. I think that's a key point you brought up. That's sticking with me for 2 hours now.
Because, I say a lot of drivel, but I think that's the most important thing because that's the microcosm of the program. That's why I talk about being authentic. If I know my guys and they know that that's how I roll, they're riding with me regardless. If I'm not, and I'm and I've been in and out and, it's a little disjointed in the staff, then it's like, man, what is this dude doing? Right? You got to be able to know if you have the team that's going to say, that's okay, coach, we got your back. I'm just not so sure that that's that team. That's why I don't like that call. It's not, the risk was too great emotionally. At the end of the day, I don't care about the time. Like, if not everybody was on the same page, the risk was too great emotionally. His team just isn't there. Right? Like, because, and stop me if you've heard this before, 3 or 4 years ago, I said, you have to stop saying we need to catch a break. We got to catch a break. We can't get a break. Do you know why? Because you speak it into existence. People sit around waiting for something good to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you just continue being average. You have to go make it happen. It creeps into your subconscious. I'm not kidding you. Say to yourself daily, I can't catch a break, and see what happens to your personality traits. Over time, you lose emotional aggression to maximize. People don't, they don't like the cycle back, but Nebraska's problem isn't physical. So if you're not talking about what's happening with the mind, we're missing the point.
Here is Jason. Good morning, Jason.
Yes, you guys are speaking my language. I mean, I'm telling you, we were down there at the Orange Bowl in '94. I mean, the ball goes over the punter's head, and then we got the ball at the 5-yard line. And what do we throw? An interception into the end zone. This team didn't melt. But on the onside kick, the team just doesn't respond. The Iowa game, the block punt, they don't respond. Like, there's so much time left in the game. Do you question it? Are you frustrated? Yes. But the team did not respond. But we were all there in the Orange Bowl when the ball was intercepted. And did you guys quit? No. And that was in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm telling you. It is mental. It's mental. And it's so frustrating. Like I said, you see a player coach the team, and he was with Coach Osborne, and you're like, you grew up in Nebraska. And it's like, you're saying you thought you could ice the game, and I get it. But you really thought the game you could put it over with a quarter and a half left to go? I would never expect the great Oz to ever say that in a post-game press conference. Like, it's unbelievable. And you're like, you played here. You were coached. It's so frustrating just to see some of this stuff and hear some of it. You just wonder why these players just give up so easily when there was so much game left.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Like I said, we hear the hype, we hear the spin. I mean, we hear you guys, go to practice. You see things, and then we don't see it on game day. This whole NIL, it's a whole nother frustrating part. I mean, people spent millions of dollars to bring in these guys on the defensive line. And there was no Ndamukong Suh on Saturday. There was nobody harassing anybody. And then you get frustrated. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating. I mean,
it's
Jason, thank you.
It's definitely a psychological thing. It's a grimy, grinder, gutty job. It is not a pretty job. You have to grind at Nebraska. It's a grimy, grindy mentality. It's what the conference is.
Mm-hmm.
We're not afforded the luxury to be Ohio State. And we like to say, hey, so what are you doing in the meantime while you're waiting for elite level players? You have to train in such a way where time doesn't matter. That's controlling the controllables. It's not waiting on the 5-star. Michigan they had a lot of guys get drafted. I get it. But they didn't beat Ohio State with talent. They beat them with toughness. And hear me heart. I'm not one of those guys that thinks, hey man, just mow down walls. Like you do need to have a certain benchmark of skill. But until skill or talent becomes a topic after a game in terms of why they lost, I'm not having that conversation.
And in the meantime, before you get that, you have to be able to manage your players and your staff.
Northwestern just looked like they were quicker Nebraska looked extremely slow, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's because they don't have good players. They're either unsure or unable or weren't committing in the moment to the moment. If those guys have their coaches back, it wouldn't be such an emotional pendulum.
Yeah.
Colorado wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't, especially 2 years later.
All right. Scott Chanley in a little bit. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and get some more calls before we get to Scott. Jimmy Watkins as well. We'll stop by. Sharp betting in the morning. A chance on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on the crossover.
When you have the tin of popcorn, it has the 4. The cheese, the white, the caramel.
Oh, you're bougie. You went
and
4. Usually it's 3.
Or is it 3? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's always one that's
That you're-
about 75% gone before any of the others are touched. Which one is it? Caramel? Cheese. Oh, no.
All 3 are garbage.
Whoa!
Not a
Popcorn, you
not a popcorn guy.
Sharp and betting in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone.
Rotella's is some tradition. They got a couple of non-negotiables. Number one, making sure customer needs are met. That's why you have all the bun types, the bun lengths, the bun styles, even gluten-free. You're looking for alternatives to get that meal in? Well, Rotella's is like, hey, you know what? We've got you covered. That's a total non-negotiable. They consider it a privilege to serve you. The other, the quality age-old ingredients. It is so who Rotella's is. When you think taste and texture, a lot of it comes from the love touch, those ingredients that go in Rotella's breads and specialty rolls. It's just who they are. When you've done it for as long as they have and you find these ways to kind of combine some new technologies and science so you can get things like gluten-free, that's winning. Over 100 years of excellence. So visit your nearest grocer or visit rotellasbakery.com.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
After a slight chance of showers and storms this morning, we'll see morning clouds give way to afternoon sun. Still staying warm today, a high of 86 in Omaha. Low humidity, be comfortable with winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies tonight and cooler, a low near 60. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some major slowdown from 192nd to 186th along Center. Then on Dodge, be prepared for some minor slowdowns from 90th to 77th. And along Highway 370, it looks like you can expect a little bit of a delay from Richland Drive to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
The dog days of summer are here, and Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More is offering a special $55 AC system check. Each system check donates 10 pounds of pet food to the Nebraska Humane Society. Give us a call or request service at justcallburton.com.
FanDuel's got a message for all of you. They want you to be ready for the start of the college football season. And new customers with FanDuel, you're going to get $150 in free bets guaranteed for week 1. All you have to do, place a $5 bet, Damon, and you get $150 in free bets, win or lose.
Yep, you heard him. He said guaranteed win or lose. That's what FanDuel does for you. There's a reason they're America's #1 sportsbook app. It's easy to use. It's super safe. It's secure, and a ton of quick payouts. That's if you're winning, like my man, Mr. Sharp. That's what he does. Remember, get the app downloaded by entering the promo code ZONE. It's really easy. ZONE. That's ZONE.
And take a look at a national championship future for Utah? Yeah, download the app and you'll see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just use the promo code ZONE, and you'll be a big, big winner. 21 over, present Iowa. First online running real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Here are your 3 Chop House cheeseburgers. Enjoy your Sonic.
Do you think they need to bring them to us on like a fancy tray, like I think like a platter? We need a maitre d'.
Yes, Joffrey, I'll take another, please.
Heavy on the Chop House, please.
An aioli.
Elevate your taste buds with the all-new Sonic Chop House cheeseburger, decadently layered with crispy onion strings and covered in a creamy Chop House aioli. For a limited time, only at Sonic. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. The difference between your company and the ones that haven't been around very long, and what's the real value there?
We started the business in '85. That has to be worth something that you've been in the community for this long. If people are just out there to shop the price and not the service and the quality of what we do and the integrity of who we are, those people may not be for us. And that's okay.
The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hi, thanks for telling my family and me about Toyota's national sales event. We got a new RAV4 during the event, and it's been great.
Well, that makes me happy. Right now through September 6th, it is the best time to drive off in a new Camry hybrid, Tacoma, and more. So what are you up to?
You know, we took the RAV4 to a great spot, and now we're exploring a cave.
Amazing.
Yeah, my wife talked me into spelunking. I'm actually a complete and absolute amateur. Huh, I could have done without the echo on that.
Toyota's national sales event is on. Visit your participating Toyota dealer today to enjoy every last second of summer. Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 6th.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, or Baxter Toyota of La Vista.
Question 5. Lucas and Carla have 3 homework assignments each. Lucas does his online at home, but Carla has no internet at home. If Carla has to travel 5 miles to find Wi-Fi at a noisy diner or a grocery store parking lot, how can she ever be expected to do well in school?
This is not a problem kids should have to solve. Cox Connect to Compete, providing affordable internet to lower-income students. Available to new residential Cox Internet customers who meet eligibility criteria. Other restrictions apply.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Sharp and Betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
All right, welcome back in. Sharp and Betting in the morning. David, Gary, and Chance, and Cody. Cody, welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
First off, Damon, Caleb, and Jamez good?
Yeah, they both. Caleb's. Yeah, they both are. They both are. We'll take. We got some early precautions this week, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, the way it looked, we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, good deal. Secondly, do you have a little deja vu from Friday to Saturday with the fumble that wasn't a fumble?
Yeah. You know, I haven't landed on that yet. So do we think that wasn't a fumble?
No.
Are we talking Nebraska or what?
Castaneda.
Knee was down.
Okay.
Knee was down, and also so was Rezak's knee down.
Oh man, you know what? I can't. That one I'm not going to excuse because we had done some things earlier, those first 2 drives, to get us in trouble, kind of with the same thing, being haphazard with the ball. So it was bound to catch up with us. So we just let that ride. We learned from it.
So I can't remember, Gary, if it was you or John, but all last week you were trying to calm the fans down because the one thing we knew coming into the game was that Fitz would be more organized and more prepared for a game like this.
That was me calming Franklin down.
I love me some Pat Fitzgerald. Hire him.
Oh,
yeah.
Did I just say that?
First of all, he had those guys at the Phantom of the Opera touring the ocean side like they were just gallivanting around the world on some holiday excursion. And I was losing my mind.
Bet they weren't going to any casinos before the game or anything like that.
Wow, here we go. I can't even confirm or deny.
But the Cliffs of Moher are so cool.
Did Northwestern go to the Guinness Factory?
No, you didn't.
No, I'm just like, did everybody do the same thing? That's what I'm asking.
The last thing, I know they're not going to get as much publicity, but I really did think that Ben Hart looked good and Prohaska looked good. Interior line, not so much, but I thought the ends looked nice.
Yeah, good. I mean, and good on Teddy for got ways to go. That's for sure. But Ben Hart for the most part did answer the dinner bell.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Oh, he was down.
But once they called it a fumble, I wonder if the game being over there, they had as many camera angles.
Yeah, I
as
don't
they
know.
normally
I
do.
just remember when he did it, I was just like walking around. I was like, there's no way that happened because, I had the radio going, the audio going in the background overhead.
Yeah.
And I heard Davison say, "Uh-oh," right away. He goes, "Uh-oh."
When the ball was stripped out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he saw it real time.
Hey, so speaking of Davison and the radio broadcast, this is the clarification I got because people wanted to hear Greg Sharp's call, the onside kick. I was told that they weren't back from break yet when it happened.
Well, that's happened to us.
Yeah, so that's why it doesn't exist. It's not that they ignored it or they were. I was told they weren't back from break yet when the onside kick happened.
Usually, the worst in games like that is when you have to get in the legal ID.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that happens too, where it's like, we got to break away for either station identification or legal ID, or they come back quick before you're back. Yeah. Like those three things are real things.
So you weren't listening on the radio. You got stuck with, Fox's camera work was not good. Not good at all. But he was down. But they called it a fumble on the field. And you know how, unless you have conclusive evidence to overturn that. Yeah. But he was down.
15 down to the 11-yard line. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. And then they'll say, did he fumble at the end of the play or was he already down?
After further review. All right. Zane, David, James, Dan, you're all welcome to stay there. We got to get to Scott Shanley, and we will do that next on Sharp and Betting in the Morning on 1620 The Zone.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy.
It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo.
Order now.
Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. If you have played golf this summer and you haven't been that happy with your game, Mike Faber, their director of instruction, he can help you out. Give Miracle Hill Golf a call today at 402-498-0220. Book lessons or book a round of golf, whether it's a quick 9 after work, a full 18 on the weekend, the Top Tracer building, you can get your golf game right. 402-498-0220, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
The Ford truck lineup is purpose-built from the ground up, designed to be tough and productive. Crafted with high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body and torture-tested high-strength steel frame with new tech to help you work smart and hard. The F-150, Ranger, and Maverick are built tough and ready to tackle whatever lies ahead. Hit the road in confidence and learn more about Ford trucks in-store or online anytime at WoodhouseFord.com, your trusted truck dealer since 1975. Woodhouse Ford.
Cubby's supports the PACE program with Raise Some Dough. For every large pizza sold at Cubby's in the Old Market, Cubby's gives $1 to the Police Athletic League, serving at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children with athletic and educational programs. PACE has over 5,800 program participants. The league reaches kids that would not normally be able to participate in athletics like soccer and baseball due to financial situations and family dynamics. PACE wants to give every kid the opportunity at athletics and a healthy and safe environment. If you'd like to support PACE too, go to paceomaha.org.
The best part of your summer night is listening to Royals baseball on 1620 The Zone.
Sharp and betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
The preseason is over. It is on to the NFL season, which begins a week from Thursday in Los Angeles for the Bills and the Rams. But we never take an off week. Here is Scott Shanley, Husker Super Bowl champion. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Hey, before we dive into
buddy?
some pro stuff, your thoughts on Saturday's game for Nebraska against Northwestern?
Yeah, I have a newly developed hate for the country of Ireland that was never there before. Not sure I'll ever want to visit. I said last week on the show that I had high hopes for this Nebraska team going into this season, and it's crazy how fast your emotions can change. The first drive, they go out, bing, bing, bing down the field, and I'm sitting there saying, I told you we're going to win 9 games. And then I watch the fourth quarter and I say, geez, we're going to lose 9 games. So I got to believe somewhere in between there's some truth that lies in the middle. But my big takeaway is I'm concerned about our play at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And if it's going to be like that all year, it's going to be tough in the Big Ten. But I left that game very concerned about our play at the line of scrimmage.
Hey, Scott, did you make the distinction? I'm not sure how much you got into it. How do you think you decide, or how do you decide between if a team is just sluggish and not kind of in shape versus they're kind of in their feelings, so they don't carry themselves with very much tempo or pace?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand, but it's hard because, to your point, early in the season, and I saw this with our high school team in its first game of the season, you think you work hard all off season, you think you're in shape, you think all those gassers are going to pay off, and then you play a football game. And so the reality of it is you can never really judge a team's conditioning until maybe game 2 or 3, just until you get into football shape. It looked like to me that there's no doubt that Northwestern won the battle at the line of scrimmage as that game went on. Their confidence, you could feel it coming out of the TV screen. They felt like they could hand the ball off every single play, and there was nothing that the Nebraska Cornhuskers could do about it. That's a demoralizing feeling. It's a demoralizing feeling when you're on the defensive side of the ball. I was in a game like that. I was part of the Colorado Massacre when we got ran all through in Boulder. And you sit there, we were a really good team that year. But you get to the point where you're saying, man, nothing we're doing on defense is working. Maybe I need to help my defensive end. He's not playing his gap right, so I'm going to help him. And once that starts happening and everybody starts to not trust that their buddies are doing their job, that's when you see things break down. And so from a physicality standpoint, I'm not saying Nebraska is just going to get the ball run down their throat all year. I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of the things when they showed the end zone copies was guys just jumping out of their gaps and not doing their responsibility.
How would you, so in the meantime, how would you help out the guys up front? Can you help out the guys from the back end to help the guys up front to stop the run in the meantime before you get things figured out, or guys get up to speed, or get up to football shape?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing you do as a defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, and you piece everything together is you become a gap defense. You put a defensive lineman in a gap and you say, when that ball moves, just change the line of scrimmage. Get across the line of scrimmage, change the offensive line's aiming point on how they're going to hit you, and now we can let the linebackers play downhill. So, the easy thing to say is make it a gap defense, play downhill, everybody gets a gap. And if you can't do that, if you aren't good enough to get in a gap and just maintain those things, and you're getting moved at the line of scrimmage, then you may have problems and you have to start blitzing and changing the front and maybe pinching defensive linemen and changing gaps and trying to confuse the offensive line. But I would say getting a gap, kind of like if anybody remembers the Tampa Bay defenses, 2002 Super Bowl team, they were undersized on defense, but they were super quick. They got in a gap and they would just change the line of scrimmage that way.
When you're kind of watching Nebraska physically, then you kind of pit it against what you think kind of the staff's going through, Coach Frost and his tenure. How much of what you think we see physically has to do with the way that they feel emotionally about themselves?
A ton. I really do, because you're not going to convince me that Zach Duval, who's the strength coach in Nebraska, is not working hard, that they're not getting it after in the weight room. I know Zach, he was there when I was at Nebraska. He's one of the best strength coaches I've ever been around. Those guys are working. There's no doubt about that they're working hard in the weight room. And so I believe it's more the latter, what you're talking about. I believe emotionally, guys are feeling sorry for themselves. Guys are getting tired and not knowing how to get rid of that inner voice in their head that's telling them, oh, here we go again. And you kind of saw that maybe that's the benefit of the transfer portal. You saw some of the new guys who just got on campus.
Yeah, different presser.
They didn't have that. Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, there you go. They didn't have that body language in the game. But to your point, even more, way different press conferences. And so the discouraging thing, Damon, is for 4 or 5 years, you heard Scott talk about getting rid of that culture from Mike Riley in the locker room. And I'm hoping that we don't have that culture from the last 4 or 5 years that the new guys have to get rid of. And to your point, you saw that in the post-game press conference, and I hope that doesn't take over this team because the season's so young.
Scott Chanley joining us here on Sharp and Betting in the Morning. Shifting the NFL a little bit because now the preseason is over. Are we going to, and I kind of know how you feel about the preseason, and on TV, it still outdraws everything. I mean, the NFL is a powerful drug. But when it comes to the preseason and playing starters, because I was looking at the participation of, they released the Vikings and the Broncos the other day, release who is going to play and not going to play before the game. And it is a CBS receipt length of players that are not going to play. And basically it's all the starters. I get week 3, but also like the Vikings hardly played any starters in the preseason. Are we getting close to preseason football where very few starters play at all over 3 games?
Yeah. There's no question. I think, to your point, I think we're already there. We've cut out a preseason game, but it's almost like organizations and teams have said, you know what, this preseason is kind of pointless. Let's find out who the last, when you have a roster of 53 guys, I think most teams, the competitive teams, the teams who feel like they can win their division, they have about 45 of those 53 roster spots filled before they even go to training camp. Mm-hmm. So training camp and preseason games comes down to them trying to figure out those 8 to 10 guys they're going to take veterans jobs. And so I think what you're seeing now are our teams saying, why would we get the other 40 guys that we know are going to make our roster? They're going to play a lot. Let's not even put them in harm's way. So whether or not they ever get rid of preseason altogether, I don't know. I think you could continue to see the games get scaled back, maybe down to 2 games in a few years. But it's completely changed. I mean, when we played not that long ago, starters were playing the first quarter in the first game. Second game, you were going to play a quarter and a half. Third game was a dress rehearsal. We were treating it like a regular season game. You were playing a half. Didn't matter. And then the fourth game was all for the guys trying to make the roster to find out who could take somebody's job. And it's not like that at all anymore. It really is just, it's almost like what the fourth preseason game was before has become the entire preseason now.
Hey, Scott, when a guy's trying to win a job at quarterback, how much of it do you think has to do with the other pieces around them, right? Are we ready to win now? I'm talking about guys' sentiment in the locker room versus guys really gravitating towards another player and going with it that way. Like if a guy is really well liked or well respected, they're willing to ride with them versus, hey, we have a lot of other pieces in place. We just need this. And so they'll make the concession that way in terms of who they want to support as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be segments to every locker room that feel, especially in a quarterback battle. If you have two guys battling, maybe you have a veteran guy on your team, and maybe you just drafted a guy who's supposed to be a really good NFL player. So you're automatically going to have the younger guys in the locker room believing in the younger guy. You're going to have older vets saying, I just want the older vet who's already been there and done it. We don't have to waste our time, because as a veteran player, your window of opportunity to win the NFL just gets less and less every year. So most guys are going to go to the corner of the veteran quarterback. If you've been in the NFL for a while, most younger guys who feel like they have forever to play are going to go towards the younger guy. But at the end of the day, I think after the training camp, after a few practices, that dynamic will shift in a locker room. Once guys see those guys perform in practice and how they lead, there is instant respect no matter where you drew the line before. Once you see a guy in practice, you feel like you know whether or not he can play. I think all that goes out the window as far as who you favor after you see a guy perform on the field.
Tom Brady the other day came back, played in the preseason game against the Colts, and afterwards he said, I got a lot of blank going on. I think that'll carry over to the season, whatever he is going through at this point in his career, on and off the field, or whatever is going on with him?
Hey, as a Saints fan, I hope so. I hope he's got a lot of stuff going on off the field. I hope his mind's not there on Sundays, because he's been a godsend to them since he's gotten down there in Tampa, and he brings a lot of hope to that organization. So I don't know what he has going on. I assume the fact that he retired once already and had a foot out the door. And I always had a coach say, once you think about retiring, you're done. You may as well just go. I mean, he actually retired. So we'll see whether or not he can be the same Tom Brady we've known for 20-some years. I would assume he's going to be pretty close. But if your mind is not there 100%, and that's what's made Tom Brady such a great player, the Peyton Mannings of the world, those guys, they live, breathe, sleep football. It is film. It is trying to find the weakness of a defense. If you aren't there mentally, you're not going to be able to be the same player. So we'll see just how much everything going on off the field, and nobody really knows if that affects him on Sundays.
Hey, what would you do if you're in Tennessee with your quarterback situation?
I'm going, just like we said before, you have a veteran, you have a young guy. I think I've seen enough out of the young guy. I think Willis has made some plays and some throws in the preseason, and it has the excitability factor about him. Like, man, this guy's going to make some plays. He's going to cause some havoc for defenses. And then you have Tannehill, who, Tannehill had a couple good seasons, signed a big extension contract, but then you have the playoff performances. And I think as a veteran player, you're sitting there saying, I've seen this show before. I don't want to see it again. Let's ride with the young guy and see if that changes the dynamic of our team.
Great stuff. Scott, we'll talk to you next, and we'll get deep into the season, which begins a week from Thursday. As always, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Scott. Scott Shanley. And I just, as I saw this, I'm trying to do the math in my head. I don't think he played in this game. You know, it was 24 years ago today, a Nebraska football game that has a Pittsburgh Steeler connection, has a Zane Flores connection. 24 years ago today was the Troy Edwards 405 receiving yards, La Tech in Nebraska.
Oh, what a reach, man.
Oh, that's not a reach. So Tim Rattay.
You just wove in Flores 24 years ago and the Steelers.
So Troy Edwards.
What the?
And
I get the La
Pittsburgh.
Tech to Pittsburgh and Rattay as his quarterback. Rattay down at Okie State, but man.
Make it relatable. 24 years ago today. Well, that was a crazy game.
Did you just
Rattay and Edwards played pitch and catch?
You just had Flores on the mind because we have a Zane waiting? It's not
Kind of.
Flores. I can guarantee that. He's in school.
Yeah, kind of.
Celebrating a victory. You saw that one live.
I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Jimmy Watkins coming up in the next hour. We'll try and get as many calls as possible in this Monday reaction at the Nebraska Northwestern. Week 1 of the college football season is here, everybody.
It's here.
Hey.
The Ford truck lineup is purpose-built from the ground up, designed to be tough and productive. Crafted with high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body and torture-tested high-strength steel frame with new tech to help you work smart and hard. The F-150, Ranger, and Maverick are built tough and ready to tackle whatever lies ahead. Hit the road in confidence and learn more about Ford trucks in-store or online anytime at WoodhouseFord.com, your trusted truck dealer since 1975. Woodhouse Ford.
Hey, the weather? It's not ready to call it quits yet on this warm weather. It is still summertime, and Ted Wally's is here for you. And guess what else? Labor Day, they're open. Whether it's back to school or, maybe you're just out with the family and they're visiting for the holiday. You've got an extra day and you're thinking, how about some ice cream? Try Ted and Wally's. It doesn't always have to be a special occasion. Sometimes it can be, just what I'm in the mood for. Now, if it is a special occasion, maybe it's senior pictures or it's a birthday party, or maybe you're like pre-planning for your homecoming and you're thinking, man, some ice cream sounds good. Ted Wally's has got you covered. Over 3,000 flavor combinations. It is ultra premium ice cream, something for everyone. 2 great locations, downtown and in Benson. Visit Ted and Wally's.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC, Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect some slowdown from 93rd all the way to 75th along Dodge. Then along 204th, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown near Q Street. And on Center, you can expect some minor delays from 192nd to 175th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Everyone knows Saul's pays top dollar for your gold, but Saul's pays cash on the spot for your precious metals too. Silver, gold, platinum, coins, bars. Who wants to wait to get paid? Get to Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Saul's Jewelry and Loan. You'll find it all at Saul's Jewelry.
Shingles add beauty, protection, and value to your home. You want CertainTeed shingles. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified CertainTeed shingle master. When it comes to your roof, CertainTeed Shingles and Carp's have you covered. Online at carpsomaha.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Brookside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Brookside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 402-671-7777. That's 402-671-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Brookside Medical Clinic now. 402-671-7777.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Oh, here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Gary Sharp and Damon Benning.
Tommy and Scott ran. Thompson giving ground. Here comes the pressure. He gets away from Holmes, finds his way to the outside. McLaughlin turns him around. He sets and throws, and this ball is caught. Garcia Castaneda out of a total scramble inside the 20-yard line. Oh, my goodness.
Said on Twitter, the best broken scramble play a quarterback in Nebraska's had since Taylor went 76 in Indy against Wisconsin. Remember when he weaved around the field and found his way into the end zone?
Yeah.
So after that, and
still no EC though.
No. So for the first 2.5 quarters, Thompson Saturday, 301 yards passing, leading 4 touchdown drives. After that, 6 of 14, 2 picks, 57 yards. That's why I wonder, thumb, hand, something. Something was off after later in the game. Then the interception where he went to the well too many times. He almost got it picked off and then went back, and the second time got it picked off. But in the medium throws, the throws labeled medium, Thompson was 10 of 19. His wide receivers, he targeted Palmer 13 times, but there were 6 drops amongst the wide receivers, which they will have to get fixed for an offense that did not score in the last 26 minutes of the game over the last 6 drives. All right, Jimmy Watkins will join us within the hour from the Omaha World Herald as we walk back into Sharp Betting in the morning. But a lot of these guys have been holding patiently, so we'll give them some time. Here is Daniel to start off the last hour. Good morning, Daniel. Welcome to Sharp Betting in the morning on the Zone.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Daniel.
Hey, Damon, real quick. Are you like really tight with Ty? Because every time I go and I tell him that you sent me, I never get a discount. Like, is it my approach? Is it my angle? Like, how do I get a discount from Ty, bro?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on that for you. I'll work on
All right.
that.
So my thought, my question, my concern about this onside kick. So when it first happened, I was pretty pissed off at the call. I didn't like it. I was upset. I thought it was a bonehead call. But then I kind of heard your sentiment about it, Damon, and I started thinking about it because I'm more of like a mental guy. I like to, try to figure out why I'm upset, why I'm angry at something and go from there. Back when Sean Payton made that call after halftime at the Super Bowl, he did that onside, and that was a genius call. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why am I upset, at Scott Frost making this call? And I think I have figured it out. It's because Scott Frost, the past 5 years, has been notorious for 1 to 2 bad decisions that cost the game. So I don't think that I'm so much, upset about the actual call itself. It's just, this is his MO. Like, this is what he does. And I think that's why I'm angry. Like, is that?
I think you're just honest enough to say that, right? Like, because I think most people are like you. If they're really, if they're really honest with themselves, you could not like the call, but if somebody else made it, it wouldn't sting as much because you can always go back to, and you're right. Well, that's just who he is, right? Like,
exactly.
No,
Maybe
I get
that's
it.
Why I'm upset.
I get it. I think most people that were bothered early are probably feel like that, than not being able to understand his rationale. I like the self-inventory myself.
Daniel, thanks for the call. I would disagree on the part about comparing Saturday to Peyton. Completely different scenarios. Remember, the Saints come out of the locker room, they're down 10-6, and he's trying to steal possession.
What I think he's bothered by, because, and again, I think if he had the support of his team and his staff, it's different. I don't know if he did or not. That's the thing.
A good question of what was your reaction on the sideline as a player?
And if they ride with him, if they're like, hey man, it's whatever, like we got his back, then it's much ado about nothing. They just gotta, hey, high risk, high reward.
But it's about deposits in the bank.
Yeah.
Here's James. Good morning, James.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, James.
What's up, James?
Got a couple things. One, I don't know if you guys realized, Northwestern got there on Wednesday. Got their legs together, practice Thursday, walk through Friday, play Saturday, and stay in 2 days afterwards. Nebraska got there Monday, sightsee, allowed the players to drink beer on Thursday. Most of the players didn't even know who was starting until almost the day before, or even that morning. Many of the players that were supposed to be backups didn't even get to suit up. They took 150 kids over there, but only suited up 75. Most of them were kids that weren't even going to play. And the two bad passes that Thompson threw, they weren't even bad passes. They were tip passes. I don't know if you guys realize when the tight end went down, the backup tight end was a walk-on who probably shouldn't be playing Division I football. That tip pass, along with the offensive line play with the tackles getting killed, is just crazy that we're still talking about the Scott Frost factor. Preparation, bad decision making.
Hey, are you in good with some of the players to know what happened on whatever that was? You said Wednesday or Thursday or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm friends with many of the parents. Kevin Williams Jr. never should have not been in the game. He's their best lineman. He didn't get not one clock on offense. There's been many scrimmages up to that point where Teddy gave up 3 sacks in scrimmages and just multiple practices, and it's probably not even healed. Shouldn't get out there. And Northwestern saw that. They weren't rotating their linemen. The defense is rotating theirs, and they bull rushing, killing them. So I mean, you got a situation where Scott made the decision to go with the same bullets from last year that was ranked the worst offensive line in the country, and they haven't gotten better. The same thing that you saw Northwestern do, run the ball down their throat, that's what Kevin Williams Jr. was doing in practice with them. So why wouldn't you go and play the best players? It goes back to favoritism and, trying to prove that you can win with the same guys from last year. The guys that were brought in, they produced. The offensive line, the linebackers not being able to stop the run, even when the tackles got double teamed, missed tackles, can't cover anybody. Tight ends are receivers in the flats. That's going to be a problem all season because they didn't go get the right players at linebacker, and they got some that's on the sideline didn't play. For Ramir Johnson to have 500 yards the year before against Northwestern and not get one touch the whole game is a travesty. I mean, you can't run the ball up the middle, and he touches the ball in the flat. That's another, fumble that just didn't happen. And there's distinction in there between Frost and not letting Whipple do his job and wanting to put his own fingerprint in there. That's why his eagle got in the way and he made that onside kick call. I know for a fact that most of the coaches didn't know, and Frost made that decision. Then he throws his coaches under the bus like he did his previous coaching regime, and says that the coaches didn't need to be more creative. Well, let them do their job. First half, everything was great, but he had to put his fingerprint in it, and then you also are looking at you putting your line, who was already fragile, in situations that they shouldn't be in. You made Thompson look like Martinez. Martinez had the same situation last year behind that offensive line, and he had to run for his life, and the fans turned on him. That fourth quarter looked just like Martinez because of the offensive line. So now I think people are coming to reality. The problem is Frost. So I ask this honest question to you guys. If Scott Frost was black, would he still have a job?
All right.
James?
A lot in there. I don't know the answer to the last question. But
I was surprised that Kevin Williams didn't get a snap or two. There were Ramir non-special teams and Gabe Irvin.
I'm trying to
Let's go to Zane.
Yeah.
Hello, Zane.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Good.
What's up, Zane?
I have some of the same questions as James, just with the personnel decisions. I was surprised not to see Ramir, but I want to give him a shout out too. He killed it on special teams. He was the first guy there, every punt, every kickoff. He did great. I had a question. I wanted to maybe see if you guys could talk more about what you had gotten into with Scott Shanley about the press conferences even. And my biggest concern, I didn't watch all of them, but the one with Casey, with Travis, and where Garrett came in late.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked Garrett as the captain, kind of how he rallies the guys after something like that. And I mean, I don't know if you guys watched it, but he was so down, and he seemed out. He didn't seem like he really wanted to be there. He seemed just defeated, really sad. And he's talking about how he needs to get the guys' heads up. And he even said, "I'm not doing a really good job of it myself right now." But then he finishes that up. And what really stood out to me, and I don't know if I'm thinking too much about this either, I would love to hear you guys, but Casey immediately looks over at Garrett and then looks back at the media and just says, "We'll be fine." Looking at Garrett almost as if like, man, why are you so down? I know Garrett's been there. He understands the losses more than Casey. Casey's the new guy. But as the vocal leader, everything on Twitter is saying, everything everywhere is saying Garrett is the guy. He's the vocal leader. He's the stand-up dude. He's the one rallying the guys. For him to come into the press conference like that, and again, I don't know what happens from the end of the game. He might have just got on all the guys in the locker room, but for Casey to say that to him in that manner, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Zane takes
That's your stage right there. You did the compare and contrast earlier.
It was wild. I mean, Zane's absolutely right. Garrett looked like the season was over. We're not even in September, and he was down. And he said, "I have no magic words." And almost Casey Thompson goes, "We're going to be fine." Like, he wasn't answering the question. He was like looking at his teammates saying, "We're going to be fine." And then later in the locker room, Sean Mathis says, "We have to act like this loss didn't happen." It's the weird balance that's going to come into play. I mean, James is right. Zane's right. Is you got to pick up the pieces quick, and you got guys that are beat down. I mean, guys that are wound so tight that they know what one loss means around here. And then you've got other guys that just got here realizing that's one of 12 football games. And how you meld those together. The next couple of days are going to be tough down in Lincoln. Not getting ready for North Dakota, but getting ready to go and do it again.
Yeah, just you talking about from an emotional standpoint. That's why you got to be all. You have to be all in. There's no other way that you can do this except to be all in as a staff, which collectively will trickle down to the players, where it's going to be this interesting fine line because you cannot panic and make wholesale substitutions, but time is of the essence. And if it's not working, you can't be so patient as to not make changes. I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing.
And there may be some guys that got more than a handful of snaps on this past Saturday. Now results reveal themselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That maybe they're not ready to play.
Husker fan, he says, I love our love for Husker football goes beyond color. If Turner Gill was the coach, I think he'd have gotten an extra year. I can see it. That was an interesting question at the end because I don't really have an answer. But James appeared to have more insight than he was leading on, but did just enough to let us know that he has some insight.
All right, Jimmy Watkins from the World Herald is going to join us here momentarily. Sharp betting in the morning with Chance on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
And this is, again, conditional, but if Nebraska's on a roll, then all of a sudden this game moves way up. Purdue, I think, is a legitimate division contender, even though not a lot of people are picking them. But the history, too. Jeff Brom has kind of had Scott Frost's number. I get it. There's still this mental block about it. Oh, it's only Purdue. Well, it's not only Purdue. Purdue has been really good against Nebraska.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, if you're in the market for a car, truck, or SUV, I got a place for you. It is Woodhouse Buick GMC, where you can shop first, experience the difference, purchase with confidence. Check out why they are dominating right now at 119th and I, their climate-controlled indoor showroom. They start with top-notch customer service and the availability. They've got all kinds of vehicles, new and pre-owned, inside of their showroom, which is a vast showroom that you guys can peruse. You don't feel like you're scrunched. And they take care of you. They want to help you start the car buying journey, and they'll put you in a vehicle that you want to have. And you're confident when you leave the lot because they want you to be part of the Woodhouse Auto family for a long, long time. So start today at 119th and I, or you can do the same exact thing online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. You can interact with the sales folks. You can see all of the inventory, and I mean all of the inventory, online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
After a slight chance of showers and storms this morning, we'll see morning clouds give way to afternoon sun. Still staying warm today, a high of 86 in Omaha. Low humidity, be comfortable with winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies tonight and cooler, a low near 60. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by Luss Hills Harley-Davidson, your home in the hills.
Email Sharp and Benning on the Equitable Bank inbox with your love, your hate, whatever your hot takes are. We're here for you. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Would you rather that your roof or siding last 5 years or 50 years? I'm Dan Thompson of Thompson & Thompson 3rd Generation. Products today last much longer. Gone are the days of just tear shingles off, nail shingles on. Whether it's impact resistant, high wind tolerance, or in the case of EuroShield hail-proof rubber shingles, you can have great designer looks and durability. At Thompson & Thompson 3rd Generation, we don't just give you an estimate. We educate you and give you options. So you decide, 5 or 50. Click Thompson 3rd today and start enjoying your new roof or siding.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth with Creighton Volleyball here. The 2022 season has arrived, and we need you in the stands as we look to defend our Big East title. Our 15-match home schedule is one of our best ever. In addition to our tough Big East slate, we are also hosting some of the top teams in the country, including Kentucky, USC, and Nebraska. Don't miss any of the action this season and get your tickets online now at gocreighton.com/buy. Go Jays!
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You can join us every week for the Sharp and Betting podcast. It's Sharp and Betting. We got a podcast driven by our good friends at Woodhouse Auto Family.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is we'll get more in depth on a lot of your favorite topics, have a guest or two, and just might drop some nuggets of information that you've never heard before.
Wherever you get your podcasts, just look for Sharp and Betting. We got a podcast driven by Woodhouse Auto Family each Friday. You can find it on the Sharp and Betting show page on 1620thezone.com. At Sharp and Betting, we got a podcast.
From harsh winters to blistering summers, Mother Nature can be a real pain sometimes. And Ty's Outdoor Power Superstores have everything you need to keep her in check season after season. Ties is the largest Hustler dealer in the United States. It's where you'll find 17 expert technicians ready to service your equipment. We'll even assemble your purchase at no extra charge, test it out to make sure it's running right, and deliver it right to your home. So skip the big box stores and get to Ties Outdoor Power Superstores in Omaha, Gretna, and Lincoln today.
Make it a great fall season. Head to KuglerVision.com today to request a consultation.
Sharp and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
Hey, just a reminder, Friday, kicking off another season. Every time Nebraska's home, we've got our home on Fridays. Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village. Great specials, giveaways, and us beginning at 6 a.m. on Friday morning.
And us.
And Jimmy Watkins of the Omaha World Herald. Not at Jonesboro's, but here on Sharp and Betting in the morning. Good morning. How was your Monday going after the weekend that was?
I know the game wasn't good for the fans, but for the content business, huh? What a huge victory for us.
Wow. Depends on how long you've been doing this.
That's glass half full. I'm trying. I'm trying to look at it somehow.
Where did this, in your opinion, and it's probably a loaded question because you might say right away onside kick. Where did this game change for you that there was no getting it back for Nebraska?
I mean, the onside kick started it, but I think when you get the Oliver Martin interception, where it didn't look like he knew that ball was coming, that's where I think, again, the onside kick is where it started, but that's where fans probably fully made the pivot into, oh, okay, I've seen this before. Here we go again. And that's just the one check mark that they were waiting for, that crucial late game turnover, where, of course, blame can't fall squarely on one person. It could be, but should Casey have made sure he was looking? Should Oliver have been looking? Probably both are true. Right? It's definitely that. And then the onside kick, of course. I don't know that we'll maybe Scott was falling the sword for someone there. Maybe he really just got too gung ho about it. I don't think we'll know for sure, but I would say the interception is where the momentum was gone, too far gone.
Hey, so Jimmy, let me ask you: when you're, did you think something happened to Casey after the scramble? He didn't appear to be the same, at least watching him.
Yeah, that is. I don't know if like something happened to him, but the offense definitely changed. The passing game stopped working as well. From that moment on, I think he was 6 for 14, 57 yards through both of his picks in that span. But it wasn't just him. They ran the ball. I think they ran the ball, 2.9 yards per clip after that. I was tracking yesterday everything that happened after that play. They ran the ball worse after that play. They had on a key 3rd and 8, they had a key blitz pickup that they missed. That led to a sack and halted a drive. It wasn't just him. There was a whole lot of, I think the deterioration of the pass game was a cacophony of mistakes. And then, of course, we heard after the game Scott talking about offensive play calling creativity. Not sure I would have advised him to do that, but maybe that played a role as well.
And other people brought this up. Josh tweeted at us. If you go back, I think Casey may have dinged his thumb celebrating after the scramble play.
Who said that?
Josh tweeted at us.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe does he
weird
just
how
speculating, or does he have? Did he think he saw a confirmation?
He went back and looked at the after the scramble play.
Yeah, it seemed different.
But your thoughts on Casey overall, like as Casey Thompson plays Saturday and now moves forward, how do you think Casey Thompson will be in this offense, and what do you think it'll look like from his standpoint? Now that you've seen him play. Yeah.
Saturday was very encouraging from my perspective. Threw the ball pretty well for the most part. He did have a couple misses. Again, most the key ones came late. He underthrew Trey Palmer, overthrew Trey Palmer on deep routes. Missed Garcia Castaneda by a considerable margin. That was his worst miss of the day on the out route. But for the most part, I thought he was really good early on, not just in putting the ball where it needs to be, but making quick decisions, hitting the back of that drop and then the ball coming out pretty quickly from there, particularly with a patchwork offensive line. That's important to recognize what you're seeing quickly and getting the ball out quickly, and he was doing that and throwing it down the field. Had no issues there, had good enough zip on it, was able to make the long throw to the opposite side of the field where I think Trey was running a comeback. That one floated up there for a little while, but he got it there. I was very impressed until whatever happened after the scramble play. And the scramble play, of course, was the icing on the cake. I mean, that was for 2.5 quarters. They basically got all the good Adrian Martinez stuff without the bad Adrian Martinez stuff. And then whatever happened after that, I don't know. And I don't want to make this whole season a comparison to Adrian, although I am going to write about him this weekend instead of going to the North Dakota game. But yeah, I loved what I saw from Casey. As long as they can get out of him what they got out of him for the first 2.5 quarters, the rest of the year, I would be very encouraged going forward. I know it's hard to say after that loss, but for the offense at least, I would be encouraged.
Hey, Jimmy, which one do you think is going to be more how the season plays out? Nebraska leaky at the point of attack against the run, or their inability to run the ball the way that they did on Saturday?
Good question. I'm not inspired by either unit's ability to change that around significantly. I think the offensive line had some better moments in spots, and I think Anthony Grant can be the great equalizer because that guy is shifty. I mean, he can create stuff when there's not stuff there sometimes.
He made a free runner hitter miss clean.
Right. Exactly, and just like I know Northwestern, they have 4 starters back. But that defensive line performance, really every level of the defense against the run game was super concerning to me. Up front, they're getting pushed across the line. And, the second level, those guys were missing tackles in the box. The secondary was missing guys in the field all day long. That stuff, the tackling in the open field, that can be cleaned up. That's fundamentals. That's uncharacteristic of what that team was last year. But if that's what's happening against Northwestern, again, 4 starters back, I get it. Evan Holt ran for 1,000 yards last year. Cam Porter was a Doak Walker watch list guy before he got hurt last year. There's talent there, but I don't think that's the best run game they're going to see this year. I don't think it's the second best run game they're going to see this year. It might not be the third best run game this year. Minnesota, Mo Ibrahim still on the schedule. Braylon Allen, Wisconsin still on the schedule. That would be my concern. Those games are much, much, much later in the season. A lot of time for you to shore it up. But the point of attack stuff, I don't know. I mean, Damon, you can speak more to this than I can. How much of that can you clean up if you're just getting pushed around up front? How much of that can change over the course of a season?
I think that's a good question. I think they can maybe start playing gaps and not so much read and react. They can play a little more tempo and play at the line of scrimmage. But I'll be curious to see which gives. Will it be the philosophy or the personnel? Because I don't know how much wiggle room he has with personnel along the D line, but he does have some on the back end.
Yeah. That's the other thing. I mean, the reason that they were so good at defending, particularly deep passes last year, right, is that they were able to stop the run with light boxes for the most part, 6 guys, and then you could drop the rest into, or 5 or 6 guys, and then you drop the rest into coverage, even 4 at times. That may have to change. You may have to commit an extra resource to the run game at times. I don't know that, but you can't live in the Big Ten West how they were living on Saturday. That's what I do know.
So let's unpack a couple of position groups on the offensive side of the ball that are not quarterback and offensive line, and we'll leave tight end on the side. is how would you assess from the beginning of the game to the end of the game and where they played the wide receiver day on Saturday?
Mixed bag. I think Trey Palmer got open super often. He didn't always connect with him. That's a chemistry thing. That's something that will evolve over time. But I think he's a legit number one guy. From what I saw, he was beating guys consistently downfield too. Again, they never connected really downfield, but they were there. Then Garcia Castaneda, another dude who was open all the time, did have the fumble. Not sure that was a fumble, but still want to see him hang on to the ball in that situation. Also had, I don't know, that wasn't him. I was thinking there was a drop in there. Marcus Washington looked good. His chemistry with Casey obviously is a step ahead of everyone else's. I know they missed the field goal, but that throw that Thompson had to Washington right before to set that up, that was some impressive time. He threw it before Washington finished the break on his route, and it was right where it needed to be, and Washington did a great job getting the foot down. But then again, he had a drop late in the game, in the fourth quarter on that last drive that would have, I don't know that necessarily would have prevented the interception from happening, but it's like a butterfly thing. Maybe you knock that one domino over the rest, right? And so I think I'm encouraged by the talent. I'm encouraged by the way that these guys work it. But I think PFF counted 6 drops. That's got to improve, and I think that there's just some chemistry stuff that needs to improve there too. Of everything, I think the pass game was the thing that I was most encouraged by on Saturday.
How do you think Nebraska helps themselves in the run game?
I mean, I think maybe you commit some more resources to it, bring some tight ends into it. You could also down the floor, but if you get the quarterback involved, that'll get defense less sure of themselves and puts another athlete in the game. I thought it was really interesting that we got Terry, but 3-4 minutes into the fourth quarter, that smelled a little bit to me like Scott saying we need to juice this up. Maybe we see more of that. That's been in the past. I think there are other ways to do it, but during the first 4 years of Scott, when the traditional run game wasn't working, it was okay. Adrian is going to help us in the run game. So Scott has said on multiple occasions during the offseason, he said it again on Saturday after the game, that Casey is a better athlete than people think he is. Me reading between the lines there says that Scott thinks Casey can get involved in the run game. And
I think that's another one of those where he's not talking to us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure that Whipple's thrilled about that idea, but I've said that 2 or 3 times during the offseason. He said it again on Saturday. That's been his solution to when the run game doesn't work. So I think that's something that you can bank on more of, whether it's Casey or Logan. I think you can bank on seeing more quarterback runs if the run game doesn't improve.
All right. So you got to hand the ball off to a running back. Grant will be the number 1 running back, and there's a startling number out there that Grant's 40, and this is from Mike Schaefer, by the way. Grant's 46-yard touchdown run is the longest touchdown run by a player playing running back since Wandale Robinson did against Northwestern in 19. So Grant will get the first carry again on Saturday. Who's now going to get the second carry or the second rotation at running back?
Did A.J. Allen do enough?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe in your view, Josh Hezant didn't do enough there this time around. I guess I would say at this point I would guess they have a relatively short leash with Yant. There was one play where one of the linemen pulled one way, he went the other way. I'm not sure. No, I'm not drawing stuff on the whiteboard. I don't know how those things are supposed to. If that was indeed a mistake, I think there will be a quick leash on those sorts of things just because they've had a track record with him with that in the past. And A.J. Allen made some hay on the drive that he played in the fourth quarter. He's a young dude who does not look like a young dude out there. I guess he's a second guy if Yant isn't. My question to your question would be, where will man. Like, we had him saying that he's playing he's a wide back, which is, to me, indicates that he's going to play a unique, versatile role in the offense. I mean, him at all. Gabe Ervin, the guy they were talking up all off season, he said he felt like a leader in the room. Last year, with one thing we do know he can do is protect in the pass game. Anthony Grant could do that too, but I thought he would maybe see some work there. And in a race that was built to us as so close, and maybe we need 2 or 3 lead backs based on the carry count.
Well, it will not be void of information and content and discussion this week. That's one thing for sure. You don't have to worry about that, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, how far down the list until we figure out where Ramir Johnson is posed to Coach Frost?
It's a long list. It's a long list, but it'll get brought up.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
I can imagine inquiring minds want to know.
Well, let's see. What is it? Wednesday Whipple talks, and then no.
Tuesday, tomorrow Frost.
So Frost, but then the coordinators talk on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Frost talks again on Thursday. And they play on Saturday.
I'm excited.
Would you want to know more Ramir or more? What's the status like? How ready is Gabe Ervin to play?
No, I'm not so much worried about Ervin. I think I kind of got a good feel for that.
Not ready to play yet?
Yeah. See what happens with everybody else, though.
I think you have to. I mean, A.J. Allen. Now you want to see more.
Yeah. I do. I stand by what I said after his recruiting, after he got here. Yeah, he's the best natural runner of the bunch.
All right, take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll roll.
I thought
through.
It would be closer to OU.
Yeah,
maybe not though. that was
well,
quick.
Again, okay. So let's pause here real quick, because this is a discussion point, and this is okay. I said CBS receipt. I mean, we're gonna have like a Christmas list when you were 5 years old of questions asked, but especially for you get a chance to talk to the offensive coordinator. You got some, where's 22? Where's 14? How much more do we see of number 9? Then what went into the thinking of who was on the field in the fourth quarter at wide receiver?
Yeah.
Right, Lever hadn't played much up until he came in. Brody Belt, who was effective when he was on the field, he only got 9 snaps. Why was it not until then that they thought it was time for him to come onto the field? I'm doing other people's work. All right, 9:41. David, stay right there. We got a line or two open, 951-1620 if you want to get in before we close out a Monday edition of Sharp and Betting in the Morning on 1620 The Zone.
After Nebraska plays on Saturday, you'll wake up on Sunday morning with a severe reaction. Michael Severe returns to 1620 The Zone, and he won't hold back about what went right and what went wrong during the game. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours, Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, only on 1620 The Zone.
Psst, come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy.
It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo.
Order now.
Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Labor Day. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
Count on Lowe's for Labor Day savings to kick off your fall. Tidy up your yard with an Ego leaf blower starting at $199. These battery-powered blowers provide power and performance, clearing leaves and debris with ease. Plus, save $50 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner gas grill, now $299. This Lowe's exclusive can fit up to 30 burgers. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. Grill offer valid through 9/7 while supplies last.
This is Scott Schultz from Host Coffee. 2022 marks our 50th year and business has never been better. We continue to grow and add new customers. Many employers are looking for new ideas for their staff as people return to the office. Our pantry service is a great office amenity for staff and guests. Fresh food, snacks, coffee, water, and other beverages for employees and guests. Enhance your office experience with pantry service from Host Coffee. Learn more at hostcoffee.net.
When it's hot, the last thing you want is your home's AC to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you cool and comfortable quickly. Call 402-788-1234 or visit McCarthy's1hour.com for $50 off any repair.
Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Sharpen betting in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app.
Hey, make sure you watch my goat tonight. Serena is at the U.S. Open. It is more of an event than a match. I guess they have 15 cameras on the match that she's having tonight, and they're going to have a big, huge ceremony, regardless if she wins or loses afterwards. 23-time Grand Slam. This could be more than likely. This will be it. I wonder if Venus will retire as well. You can't have no Serena and yet just Venus. I mean, she's been in her shadow her entire career. She should retire as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any debate now. They've accepted who the GOAT is. That would be hard as a sibling, unless you're just that honest.
Here is David. Hello, David. Welcome to Sharp Betting in the Morning.
Yo, my guys. What's up?
Hey, David.
What's up?
How you doing, Sharper Image?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. Hey, I want to join into the sofa coaches conversation. And I got to tell you, David, there's something I agree with and something I 100% disagree. I don't 100% disagree with you, but do disagree with you. So I'm going to talk about that. And of course, you guys are open to high school. I'm open to talk high school football too. But so get into what I disagree with, Damon. So you talked about the Huskers not having the physicalness not being a problem. I mean, obviously it was. I mean, they got pushed around quite a bit. That team just really beat them up. I mean, it's
what I said was the lack of physicality due to them being in their feelings, or are they just not very physical?
I get you. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's they don't have the ability to be physical. I just think that that's good. That's part of my reason to call, because I think, it's just like everything is an overreaction. Like, to be honest, that, I felt a certain way, in watching the game. I said a lot of the same things people said, which was, it's just the same thing. We're seeing the same thing over again. But, a day and a half later, you really kind of reflect back on it. That Northwestern team was a pretty good team. Like, time will tell if they're as good as what they looked. But, I mean, to me, they were physical. They made smart plays. They didn't turn the ball over. I mean, they played a really good game. And I think we underestimated Northwestern. I mean, they obviously got embarrassed last year. They have a really good head coach. They came in with a game plan with a more mature team than ours, and a team that's probably more gelled as a unit. So I think we kind of underestimated too. We got caught. What happened was Nebraska fans got caught listening to the R. Kelly music without realizing that.
Wow.
You know what? There's issues there.
Man,
I don't know.
You knew so. I mean, you had been you hadn't cracked a joke in the last 60 seconds. I knew one was coming.
I don't know how you feel about R. Kelly, but I mean, my head starts bobbing, and then I start feeling bad about it. But
wow.
But so I do. The thing I agree with you on is that it's kind of what I just alluded to is it was a good team. I mean, there's not all else fails. I mean, I just think that we got beat by a good team who's probably going to beat a number of teams within in the Big Ten. I mean, I don't think there's any question on it. If they play the way they played against us, I didn't have a problem with the game. The onside kick, who cares? I mean, the biggest, and I know the fumble was a big thing to me because you're talking about a 10 to 14 point swing, probably. I mean, that was huge. I mean, that's the potential of being up 17 or 21-7, at that point. So that was really big to me. I could care less about the onside kick. People get over it. I mean, I know you got people calling in and they got these insights. They're obviously, Adam Schefter's of the world, and they want to raise what you call interesting questions, which I just think is one of the problems with the world and pulling race cards. But anyways, I think we have to just take a step back and just realize that, these guys haven't played together. They're learning how to play together. They played a team that's well coached, physical, and had a game plan that just was probably a little bit better than ours. And I think that we're gonna benefit from it in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's really more of it. And I didn't really get to see much on the West Side game. I seen I wanted to get your thoughts on that, David. I know. So when there's been a lot of quarterback discussion with Creighton Prep, but from what I saw, it looked like Stessman got in there a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I don't know why Donaldson didn't play, if he was due to injury or they just weren't happy. I think Vedral was a little dinged. He took some good shots kind of early, and Stessman came in and he was confident. And I felt like he gave them the most versatility, right? Because they threw the ball downfield with him. And, he has a little bit of a scrambling dimension to him. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the direction they went going forward. But, we didn't play very well in the second half. And they did the same thing to Bellevue West, right? Like Creighton Prep's not going away.
Oh, no.
And we did not answer that second half energy.
Yeah, I went to that Millard West, Millard South game, and I'll tell you what, man, the kid from Millard West and Will Anderson's good. I mean, Millard South, they're good. They didn't wow me per se, but they played really good football. They're kind of learning to play, in the wisdom system, and Coles was getting his feet as a quarterback. I mean, threw for 300, so you can't really say too much about it. The defensive line was really good. And I'll tell you what, they had Anderson in there. He made some good throws. Jackson Williams was a beast.
Yeah, but, he can run.
Yeah, but Will Anderson, that kid is a freshman, and he took some licks. I mean, he was getting hit, and he just kept getting up. And I just think about a 14-year-old, going against, some of these kids on that defensive line. Some of them are a lot more mature physically, and just taking the beating that he did, and he got up. We wouldn't come out of the game, and I think there's a lot to be said with that. So we got.
Were you surprised at how the North Bellevue West game turned out?
A little bit, just because I felt like Bellevue West was going to be familiar with the, with what the situation. So, you're going like Creighton Prep, quarterback questions on the opposite team, good defensive line, good offensive line. You're playing running team. So I thought there was a lot of similarities, and obviously the game plan a little bit different, but similar. So I thought Bellevue West would be a little bit more ready, I would say. But it speaks to North. I mean, North is super talented. I was going to call on Friday and ask you because I heard, I got tweeted at by Nate that he was starting at quarterback, which I thought was interesting. I mean, obviously, a lot of people expected Circo to start.
I don't think he felt great.
Yeah, but Nate Collins is not. I mean, he was kind of a.
He played against us, and he kept him in it.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback, man. I think that's one thing that North's going to have trouble with is because. I don't know if I like some of his hand motion. To me, it's a little low, but he's a good quarterback, and he's got feet too, which I think you saw a little bit of in that North game. But one thing is he's been there at North.
Mm-hmm.
He's fought with those guys, and he's been fighting and working hard, and so I don't know. I guess mentally, kind of fits their system. He's a hard-working kid who, has got some talent. So. Circle better feel better because Collins ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's and I appreciate that. That's they gave up 207 to Porter in 3 quarters, and 176 to Marty last week against Prep.
So Porter got injured at the end of the third quarter?
Yeah. I think it was his ankle, maybe.
So you're telling me that the guy that ran for 1,600 yards last year started out the year running for 207 in the first 36 minutes of football he played this year?
Yeah, he's way good.
Yeah. All right. I have to go back because I've not listened to the audio, but about the onside kick, I think O'Shawn Mathis is the only person, either he was the only one that was asked about it or the only one that has commented on it about what kind of an impact it had. He said later in the game it did have an impact. Interesting. I'll grab the exact quote tomorrow. Here is Andrew to finish the show. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Quick question. With the schedule this year that Nebraska has, I was looking at it. They only have 4 away games. I talked about with a buddy the other day that Pat Fitzgerald, obviously good coach, does a lot with less. You look at the coaches coming up that Nebraska's going to face: Brom, Schiano, Ferentz, Christ, Fleck, Harbaugh, Venables. How many games do you think he gets out coached in? Them are good coaches.
Yeah.
Them,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say, but
it's going to be a week by week thing.
It's
and that's leaving Tom Allen off it. And Tom Allen, I don't know if he's that good of a coach, but I mean, he's a wild man. He's a motivator. I'm just looking at where wins are, and with only 4 away games, if you don't win 7 to 8 games, if you're under 500 with this schedule, how does anybody defend that?
Yeah.
All right, and Andrew, thanks for calling.
I don't think anybody will. No.
Well, and I think here's what happened on Saturday. If you are the staunchest supporter, it was tough for you.
Yeah.
It was tough for you on Saturday to continue on that road.
And
if
now,
you were on the fence, it becomes even tougher.
And now you have another chance to do something that you haven't done in his tenure, and that's win 3 games in a row. Right? You feel much better. You get by, at 3-1 if one of those wins is against Oklahoma, but they're just not afforded the luxury to look that far. But it doesn't have to be over today.
Oh, we haven't even got to September yet. I know you go to any of the stores right now that you go to that I was in yesterday, and they got pumpkin and Halloween stuff everywhere. We're not even to September. The season is not over. That's the way you have to approach today.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I'm a player and I'm here to play 12 football games.
Yeah.
So we stumbled.
That's how you got to look at it. Only choice you have.
All right. Good show, everybody. We got a lot of emails and tweets that we weren't able to get to, but trust me, we'll respond. And we'll do this all again tomorrow. This is not a media day today. They pushed it back. That was originally the plan, was that they would not have media for the head coach until Tuesday of this week. So it's nothing that changed. Just that's how it was planned weeks ago. All right. For Chance for Damon, I'm Gary. Also, big thanks to Scott Chanley, Jimmy Watkins. A lot of great discussion this morning. You can find it all on the radio replay page, 1620 The Zone, or the Sharp and Betting in the Morning tab. Until tomorrow, this is Sharp and Betting in the Morning.
There are actually 2 kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. Join us September 2nd for the Oliva event from 6 to 9 for live music, free food, and awesome cigar deals. Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Hi, everybody. Gary Sharp. If you've been in Nebraska for a while and you love going to sporting events and you're getting your hands on the best tickets, there's a good chance you bought them from Ticket Express. Well, I'm here to tell you that Ticket Express has a new name. It's Tickets for Less.